Yo.
Hey, welcome to the new meta episode 134.
134. Wow.
134. Man.
Wow. That is.
It was the night before BlizzCon line.
Yeah.
And all through the house.
Listen, that's like almost double 134 hours, right? Because every podcast we're like, oh, it's going to be an hour. And then it's like 5.
So yeah, originally, when we started this thing, like way back in 2018, we were like, hey, let's do this podcast. Like, yeah, how long should we make it? I don't know. Hour sounds good. Sound good? Yeah. I don't think we've done a single hour episode.
I think we had one.
Like maybe. And I'm sure it was over an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably like an hour 15 or hour 20. So yeah. Just it is what it is, man. We just go until there's no more juice left.
Sometimes you just run on. I'm efficient and fast, and you just fill time.
Sometimes I have to carry a lot, man. You know,
got to fill the gap. Yeah,
like listen, dude. You know, yeah, man. This is an exciting week. It's like it seems like it's here faster than I expected it to be here. It's like, oh, it's Friday. It's this Friday. This is the juice. You know what I mean? Like this is the big. I can't imagine they're going to do something in November. Let's say COVID clears up.
You mean
I don't think they're going to do.
Yeah. No.
Like, would they?
No.
So like BlizzCon has officially been moved to February now. Like, let's say because let's say they do this one, like obviously they're going to do this one Friday, and then if they don't do one this next November, they're not going to wait until the following November to do another one.
Like. It was a convenient.
November was a stupid date, anyways. I'm just saying.
It's a convenient strategy for them. I think that they were maybe looking to move it anyways, because I think we had discovered that they were going to be starting to get like the convention center was going to be really filling up at that time, and so they were probably going to have to actually pay more to hold the date in November/October.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that it's probably worked out for them. Maybe I don't know.
So I guess we're looking at February BlizzCon. Like, February is cold in St. Louis. That could actually, like, in the future, if we're gonna fly out there.
November, October is cold. What do you mean?
February. Not like February though. Like February is always cold as hell, dude.
Yeah.
So
Speaking
this
of
has been
cold, right? Oh my god.
What is it's 6 degrees right now, and this is like warm. Like it was like negative, I think, earlier today.
Computer, what's the temperature?
Right now, it's 6 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, 6.
That's what I got too. We're the exact same.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have
oh my god.
Ideas to share.
Of course, the one time. Computer, stop. She just wants to be on the podcast.
She's like, oh, and by the way, it's your address, blah 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 blah, and your name, blah 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 blah.
Your credit card is. Do you want me to keep
your
this?
Your credit card is 5663. You're just like, oh my god.
But they've actually been doing. I don't know if this is the same St. Louis, but they've been doing shutoffs. Like blackout periods to conserve energy? Yeah.
No.
So if the podcast goes out, you know why.
No, are you being serious?
No,
right
I'm dead
now?
serious. To conserve energy, they're doing like periodic blackouts.
Conserving energy from what? Are they out of energy?
I don't know either, because then everyone like
what the hell are y'all doing?
Power kicks back on, they boost their heat even harder.
I don't know. Everything, right? Although, I mean, if they shut off my stream room, they'd probably save some kilowatts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My power flashed today in the middle of my stream, so maybe, but it was just it wasn't a shut off. It was just like a.
So what happened? Did anything get thrown off?
When the power went out?
Yeah.
Everything was dead. What do you mean?
Oh yeah, because the computer automatically shuts off, right?
Like everything, yeah. Like everything was down.
Quinn's got one of those like
backups.
Yeah.
So I have some and for my employment for a long time we had bunches of them, but they're not efficient. The batteries wear out over time, and it kicks on once a year. I don't know. It's a good thing if you can afford it and want to do it. But
I get it.
Anyways, back to the Diablo juice. It's cold, and we got BlizzCon.
Yeah, we got listen. The schedule is packed, so buckle up, team. You're in for a wild ride.
This is so. Oh, before we start, guys, if you're not already following Fluff and I on Twitter, we're probably, and by probably I mean going to, do extra new meta episodes this week.
I think it's
We
safe
didn't talk-
to confirm that after everything Friday we'll do one, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after
Right.
all the show stuff on Friday, we're for sure doing a bonus podcast to talk
Yeah.
about the juice. And then we're talking about doing another one Saturday.
Yeah. So probably Saturday too, unless you have conflicts. I don't know why it wouldn't happen. But Friday and Saturday, we don't know the exact times yet. So get us on Twitter and we'll get those out there and you guys can know exactly what times we're going to do it, or in the Discords, or both.
Yeah.
But yeah, so make sure you're keeping an eye on that. It's going to be fun, dude.
Huge.
I hope. It's
Yeah.
either going to be us being really toxic because we didn't get anything, or it's us going to be like super excited. It's going to be like an extreme one way or the other, I feel.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, either way, I think we'll have millions of things to talk about and
Yeah.
millions of things to dissect. So it's going to be juicy.
cool.
But
Let's talk about the poll.
yeah, last week we asked, I can't find the button. Oh no.
Oh no.
This
Video
is new.
card crashage.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah. So, well,
Are you kidding me?
you can't deactivate, reactivate, or do you just do that?
I just did that. I can restart this machine and hopefully that'll fix it. Let's just
Oh, yeah.
lose my
But-
whole schedule.
Good luck.
Thanks.
That's okay. So,
Great.
I can talk about it at least.
Yeah.
While we look at it.
Go ahead. Bring it up.
So the schedule we asked next week was, do you think Project Fenway is the fabled Diablo 2 resurrected, or is it something new? So what do you think?
Wow.
Is it D2 confirmed?
This reverse. This is so weird.
Something new. I know. So, what do you think?
Yeah. So there's a couple of little bits of information we're going to talk about today that are like weigh in, but I guess if I'm weighing in on last week, right?
Okay, yeah, right.
Right? Like the things
Right.
we're not considering and all that stuff. I'm still gonna go ahead and say yes. The Fen, yeah. I think the Fen thing is like maybe the Diablo code that we talked about last week. Maybe that's just a thing.
Yeah, we're cracked the
cracked the code, yeah.
crackers.
So, and the fact that it lined up with the classic stuff so heavily with that Max, which is still weird. Still weirds me out that that's an actual person's name. Max, what was it?
Yeah, Max Virtue. or
Virtue.
something?
Yeah.
There's no way, man. That is total bullshit. Like, as soon as I read that name, I'm like, this isn't real, dude.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
if there's
so,
somebody,
yeah.
hold on, I'm gonna Google that real quick. Is somebody's name Max Virtue?
And are they even at Blizzard anymore? Because if they're updating their LinkedIn, it makes me think that they're not. But-
There's no way that's a real person, dude. It pulled up like some wannabe YouTuber guy. I don't know, man. I don't know. It could be. Like, listen, if that's your name, I'm sorry that your parents did that to you. But so if we go back to the poll, I think
Fuck,
I
it's
think you're right.
bricked. It's actually
Yeah,
bricked.
I think it's Fenway is D2 confirmed. So
Oh shit, dude.
oh shit. So can we is it an internal card? Or is it USB?
Maybe I can like unplug and replug.
If it's USB, you could, yeah. That's what I
Okay.
would do.
I'll just
I'd
do
rip
that
it.
super quick.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and look up the poll results while Fluff is doing that. I'm gonna vote that it is D2 confirmed. 63% of the votes say it is D3 confirmed, with 37 saying it's something new. So I don't know, man. I agree. Well, I guess we'll find out Friday if Project Fenway is actually a D2 thing. Oh no. The brickage. Technical difficulties never happen on this podcast, I promise. You guys are listening in. Fluff's capture card just totally went dead on us. Unfortunately. So yeah. Always
think
have
it's
something
bricked.
going wrong. Yeah, you bricked your capture card, dude.
What the hell?
Between setting fires and burning stuff down, man, the capture card's gone. In other news, since we're not going to be able to show you anyways, we got a buff today, man. Season 22, we got Goblin buff hit on Tuesday.
I just run it on my other monitor. Yeah.
That's seconds. Yeah, I was just talking about, so we did the poll results. We talked about the poll results, and then I jumped into the season 22 Goblin buff that hit on Tuesday. I guess I'm not sure if it went live today or if it went live yesterday. They said for the rest of the season now, so it looked like maybe it was already live, but
okay.
But we got that announcement. How do you feel about it? So what he says is, for the rest of season 22, all treasure goblin spawns will be doubled. That means each time you encounter a treasure goblin in the wild, they'll be accompanied by an exact duplicate of themselves for 2 times the loot, chaos, and fun. There are a few important details to keep in mind. It doesn't work on bandit shrines, goblin rift packs, or realm of greed. The Whimsydale portals created by the Rainbow Goblins both take you to the same Whimsydale, and Insufferable Miscreant is not affected as is intended. So it's the same as it has been for other seasons. We've had this at least for a season buff, and then did they enable this for a weekend, or was it for a partial season in the past?
I think they started as weekend, and then it stayed the rest of the season, right?
The whole time, yeah. So it's cool, man. I don't think this doesn't make me jump back in, you know. If like, what are your thoughts? Like, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, let me hit chat with the poll super quick.
Oh, I forgot to talk about last week's poll. My bad.
Yeah, so last week's poll. Oh,
we talked about last week's. This week's poll.
This week's poll is: are you hyped for double goblins? Option 1: hell yeah, double the fun. Option 2: nice to have but not impactful. Or option 3: yikes, kind of a meme at this point.
Yeah.
I guess can we? Yeah, we can't talk about it because it's next week.
We can't. I mean, if we talk about it, we'll ruin it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're just gonna skip it then. But yeah, they hit Monday. So congrats on that. And then the Diablo Twitter has been
blowing up.
Man.
Literally.
I don't know who's running the Twitter these days.
That's a new person. I forgot the name, so I'm sorry, but
they are
cracking it, dude.
Not slacking in their job, dude.
At least a day. One a day. Maybe more. Yep. Probably 2.
Yep.
My phone's been blown up by them, so
you're almost like, oh my god, stop it.
It's been pretty sexy. I'm not gonna lie. Some of it's like, oh, but most of it's like, oh.
The schedule stuff is interesting. That's where I got the news from, is when they posted it.
Yeah, so more Lilith art, which is kind of neat. It almost looks like a game render, You
think?
Yeah, because
it's strong.
Kind of. I don't know.
It could be like something used in a menu or something, maybe. But
and a quick, rundown of what we can expect from the Diablo, which we're actually going to talk about in great detail in a second, so we won't dive too much into that. And then they've been doing the challenge with video again. They did this week's, which was it? Legacy of Nightmares.
Legacy. Yeah, this week's challenge rift. Let me tell you about it. It was amazing.
Oh, yeah. Tell us. Because if you guys don't know, PChild does challenge rift guys every week. And you should watch them.
Yeah. In case you have, I guess there's a lot of people that haven't played the game a lot, but they're pretty easy most of the time. This Legacy of Nightmares build, you had Siphon, you had Corpse Explosion, you had Corpse Lance. I don't even remember what else, man. It was pretty bad. So you could basically just pick any skill you want. It's like, what did you want to kill things with?
Why is that a bad thing? Choice.
It's not. There's no movement. Again, dump one of your shitty skills and take Blood Rush, please.
Stewards.
Yeah. Something. It was bad. But it just it makes me sad because this girl or guy is taking time to make these really cool challenge rift tweets. These are edited really well. I love the style they're doing on them.
Right.
Yeah, the style is just fabulous on this shit. And
I was actually using Legacy of Nightmares. The actual Legacy.
It's not Legacy of Dreams. It's actually Legacy of Nightmares Rings.
These builds still exist. Was it pulling from a database from season 2?
No, but why? This is such a meme crap build. It's why don't they do it with
I
something
know.
better.
Like these
you
are
know?
such
Like,
cool posts. Let's give them an actual build to
That's
showcase. Right.
Yeah, like just handpick. I will handpick a build. You give me a bunch, Blizz, every like just give me access and I'll go through and I'll find something fun for us to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Missed opportunity.
I don't know, man. It's again, it just goes on that road of why. But it's cool that they're doing it. And this one is I actually took time to pause on this and like
All
read the
day
thing.
we hear you demanding double treasure goblins. Well, here they are. Tap the gift to see if you can capture these infernal. Okay, so I'm a god gamer. If you guys didn't know this, oh, it didn't work. It didn't work. What happened? Okay. What is not working?
What are you trying to do?
I'm tapping it.
You trying to pause it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I
just click it.
I have to double click it. See, look at that. Do you see that?
Yeah.
God gamer.
All right,
Every
if
time.
you pause it next time and you get it to pause on the goblins, do it again.
I can do it.
Double
I
or
can do this all
nothing.
day.
Back to back. You just restart the video. Yeah. You just
I'm a
restart.
god fucking gamer, dude. Literally unstoppable.
It's interesting. It's just text in there that's like random. I don't think there's any meaning behind it.
Yeah, what is all the text in there actually?
It's like
a skeletal executioner has executed you, alas. A unique curse has torn you to unique shreds. You have been ripped apart by a tormented behemoth. Try again. A rockworm left out from the ground, and now you are dead. Nice.
It's just like it's like one of those like roll the dice for your death things. I don't even know, but
I can't lose. I'm just saying.
I think the person that's submitting these tweets must be the same person that's creating them. I would imagine. It seems to me like they're like, okay, I'm tweeting. All right, I'm just gonna go make some shit and throw it up there. Like make some cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's a good idea. I like this a lot. This is like just like a cute little community post. This is honestly, this reminds me of something that Bex would do.
Yeah,
and I think that is a good model to emulate. To be honest,
I like it. I think it's cool. I think it's nice to see them posting stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And this is the same thing. Did you post the same link twice, or did I click the same link twice?
I don't know.
You probably messed up. Yep, not me.
Yeah, it was me.
And then what else? Everything got thrown off because.
Oh, we got the Hooli post. Tom.
Wait, what? I didn't see this. Oh yeah. Never mind.
Yeah.
No, this is great. So, Tom, who's the third new CM that they added, right? So it's Adam, and then Filthy Rich, and then Tom Powers, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He came on here and he used this like I've never seen this technology in my life, and it apparently exists on the forums. Like, what is this? He basically
they've had the new forums, yeah.
Yeah, he takes a note from the New Meta podcast, the Big Brain survey, asking week after week, and he implements it himself on the forums. So I might give you guys the link so you can.
Tom's been watching the pod.
Yep, I'm telling you guys. Or how else would you get this idea? A survey? I mean, come on, it's gotta be us.
You know, they listen. Our ideas. You know, they're going places.
Yeah, he basically polls the forums of what are you guys looking forward to the most on the schedule for Diablo BlizzCon.
Let's answer this as the new meta. All right.
As the new meta.
The
voice of Deckard Cain. Obviously.
Yes. 100%. So what event are you looking forward to? Diablo, what's next?
Yeah. The voice of Deckard Cain.
Okay.
Developer Roundtable, the Gothic World of Brahm. I don't even know what that means.
What does that even mean? Is that a new thing they're gonna drop? Did they spill juice right there?
I have no idea.
Is Brahm one of the new areas?
D&D guy? Is that thing that they're talking about? Day 2?
I have no idea what Brahm is. I'm gonna Google it right now.
Okay.
What was it again? Read
the Gothic World of Brahm. Oh wait, Brahm's an artist, isn't he?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's an artist.
Art of Brahm has a website. He's got a website. He does some really good stuff.
I think he's one of the Diablo artists. So he's probably going to like deep dive into his inspiration and stuff like that.
Okay.
Which we'll probably find out when we look at the schedule in just a second. Diablo Deep Dive, Diablo Q&A, Artists at Work, Diablo Hive Mother, or Opening Ceremony.
You know, I'm going to go with... Here's the thing.
What's the thing?
Diablo What's Next is my instant go-to, but I feel like they're going to drop the juice for Diablo in the opening ceremony.
No.
You don't think they're going to talk about Diablo 4 in the opening ceremony?
No.
Think they're going to save it? How did they do the reveal? And the reveal in 2019, it was the opening ceremony.
Yeah.
I don't think they can save the
There's
juice.
nothing. I don't know. Would they add the campfire scene to opening ceremony?
Yeah, I think they would. Because everybody watches the opening ceremony.
It would have to be like a cutscene thing where they're.
I think it's the opening ceremony, and that's why I'm going to vote that way. Because I honestly think that they will not save the juice for the Diablo What's Next, because that's when every game goes independent, and they want that in your face to make you want to play the game. Even if you're not a Diablo fan, like let's say you're a WoW fan, you're gonna be like, "Oh, dude, what, a Necro? Oh, that looks badass." But if they wait to the Diablo What's Next, you may not ever even see it, because you may go straight to the WoW What's Next. So that's why I'm going to vote opening ceremony. I think my first inclination is What's Next for Diablo, but I'm like, man, I don't think they make it.
That's a good call out, I think.
I think they're going to pre-me.
If this was the year they're going to announce Necro, I'd be probably clicking that immediately, opening ceremony. But I don't think they are, because they would have asked me personally to either talk about concepts or, rip
a
I would
sheet
know
off a statue or something.
Yeah, I would know something.
What if they set up a live action role play of the opening campfire scene? And they're like, Fluff.
And they got me cosplay.
They're like, Fluff, we want you to play the Necro. Would you do it?
Yeah, fuck yeah, I'd do it. Go. I'm going to need you guys to handle everything, because I don't do that. But
can you guys get some makeup artists?
Yeah.
And,
I'm in.
Yep.
All I got to do is look like a pale, creepy guy. So I just do a PChild cosplay.
I'm not. Am I that pale? I'm not that pale. Get out of here.
I'm just kidding.
I'm more tan than you. You know what? I think we're probably both equally Casper White. I don't think either of us get outside very much.
We're making jokes, P. I don't actually. Okay. All right.
Yeah. What are you going to vote, man? I'll let you pick it. You can pick.
So again, Necro is not going to be the announced class, because I would know something as the face of Necromancer. So I do see your point, and I think that would be very pog. But I'm still going to say Diablo What's Next, because Diablo What's Next, I would assume, would contain all the Diablo stuff and details and juice, whereas opening ceremony would have too much of the other Blizzard games in it. So I'm like, no thanks.
I'm with you, because it's more focused on Diablo.
Yeah.
Opening ceremony is gonna. You think they're gonna hit? I
gotta log in to vote.
All right. Next. Do it live right now. Do it, Fluff.
No, I got the 2FA and I have to do the thing. No.
Okay, well, we'll pretend. I'll vote for you.
Thanks.
So Diablo's What Next is what won.
Yeah, 70%. I can see the results without voting.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah. What is a deep dive versus What's Next, I wonder?
Who picks deep dive over opening? You guys clearly didn't think this.
Guys who don't care about other games.
That's where the juice is gonna be, though, man. Like, the biggest announcement is gonna be in the opening ceremony. It will.
You say so, dude.
I think it's gonna. I don't think they're gonna save the juice. Like, so what's the biggest info they could give us on D4?
Let's just, we're talking about the schedule. Why not pull it up, right?
Let's talk about it. Let's do it.
Okay, so if you guys have been living under a rock, Blizzard last week unveiled the actual schedule for BlizzCon Online, and as we had hoped for, actually, this is like best case scenario for me, because we kind of talked about last week how they said they'd have 6 different channels, and so we're like, sweet, there's gonna be a Diablo channel.
And we were trying to figure out the names of the games, right?
Yeah.
And so let me pull this.
Well, it wasn't just that, but you're like, I think there's gonna be one probably devoted to games, and there's gonna be one devoted to community. I was like,
cosplay,
crap, you planted that seed of there might not be a Diablo channel.
Yeah.
But now we get confirmation. There is a Diablo channel, and so thank God for us. So opening ceremony is 4 p.m., which is what, 2 p.m. for us? No, 6.
No, it's DST. It's actually listed
that's us. So it knows.
Yeah,
it knows.
It knows our
great.
IP address. Yeah, they're snooping us somehow.
Yeah,
I don't know how.
Sweet.
So 4 p.m. Central, that's 5 o'clock on the East Coast. That's 2 p.m. on the West Coast. 3 p.m. Mountain Time. And if you're not in the States, I can't help you. So
You're on your own.
you're on your own. You have to look up the time conversions, but it is 4 p.m. Central for us.
And it's 1 hour and 10 minutes. And if you drill down into it, it says, join us at the start of BlizzCon Online and discover the latest from Blizzard Entertainment. No spoilers here. So you're going to want to catch it live. And that's
Something
on all the
about-
channels. All 6 channels are playing the exact same thing at the start.
That's what it says, yeah. But I thought I remember reading the emails that were saying like it's not going to be simulcast or something. I don't know, man. Just be careful. Like if you don't see it starting right away, make sure you're on the main channel for some reason. I remember getting some kind of weird email saying that like we're going to simulcast. I wonder how they're going to break this down because I thought they were going to do this on Twitch, right?
Yeah. They're going to have one channel for each.
Are they really? They're going to have like their own Twitch channel for each thing?
Yep.
Okay, so make sure that you get those down and make sure that you save the other ones that you're not interested in just in case like the opening ceremony is not working on Diablo channel because for some reason I thought they said you had to watch the main channel for the opening ceremony, but hopefully that's not true. So.
Yeah.
And you know what? You know what else is okay? So go ahead. I'll let you make your point before because we might go to the exact same spot.
Well, there's no point I'm going to make. I'm just going to talk about what's next.
Well, look at the Diablo what's next and how it's 40 minutes? But
Yeah.
the World of Warcraft what's next is only 30 minutes?
Yeah, so if you guys...
Then they're going to replay the Diablo. Like they're putting the WoW one in front of Diablo. Like there's so many things I'm reading into this.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So on the Blizzard main channel, for you guys that are listening, right after opening ceremony is World of Warcraft what's next. Now, historically for Blizzard, that usually means, whatever's after opening ceremony is the biggest piece of juice.
Yeah.
So whatever maybe is coming for Warcraft next is what they think of as the biggest announcement. So,
but they can't have that much juice.
I don't know, right? So if it's just
like 9.1, okay,
if it's
like
just
that's
a new
bigger
raid
than any fucking D4 stuff you got, like
I don't know.
That's depressing to me. Like I'm already like all sad. We're like, oh man, I'm scared because 9.1 is bigger news than Diablo 4 juice. Man.
Hard to say, right?
Because I don't know what else they could have for a while. Like 9.1 is all the talk. That's what everybody's like. Oh, they're going to give us 9.1,
right? Should we just talk about the tweet thing before we?
Yeah, let's just let's jump into that because I think that
we're going to be jumping all over the place, guys. So the timestamps are going to be a mess. But yeah, so the same guy that leaked that Diablo 4 is coming in 2019, he tweeted out the following: World of Warcraft, the Burning Crusade Classic. These are his announcements.
Yeah.
Leaks.
I mean, that's been rumored and 100% I agree they're going to announce it because they're not going to have it ready for over a year anyways, right?
Yeah.
So like, okay, hopefully that's sooner. I think if the timetable lines up, it should be hitting relatively soon though. Like, because I think they're trying to keep that original pacing of vanilla into Burning Crusade. But that's a given. That's money. That's free money. They're printing money with that release,
Yeah, whatever. Who cares? No one cares about WoW. You're gonna play that? Why?
BC? Hell yeah, dude.
What came in PC? The Blood Elf.
BC got Blood Elves and then
Paladin can finally play.
Shaman went to
Horde.
Alliance and Horde went to Pally, and Shaman got our Alliance got Draenei, and just the whole expansion with Black Temple and all the cool stuff. Illidan.
And then after that, he says Diablo 2 Resurrected. So according to this guy, it's happening.
Yeah. Like, did he? I'm sure he said that last year too. I would like to see his tweet from last year. I bet it's on our schedule, man. I should have pulled that up. Right. We had more time and thought about it.
Yeah.
But I bet he predicted. Diablo 2 Resurrected then.
Maybe.
If we don't get D2 Resurrected this year, we're not getting it.
Yeah, period.
If there's not an announcement, we're never gonna get it. Like, write it off.
I think furthermore, if we don't get a D2 Resurrected announcement during opening ceremony, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
So I don't
Because
think
that
that I
that,
still
that could
want
be the big
yeah.
juice.
I don't want people to
Is
hope.
that the biggest Diablo juice? That's got to be the biggest Diablo news if they drop it. That's bigger than Campfire Scene. That's bigger than
Oh, it
any
depends on
D4
who you
news
are,
they
I
drop.
think. But yeah.
I'm saying as Blizzard as a company, I think that's bigger. That's a bigger announcement than what could they say for D4 that's bigger than hey Diablo 2 Reforged?
I mean, Necromancer. It's bigger than any announcement they've ever made.
Get out of here, man. Oh my god.
But yeah, so Diablo 2 Resurrected, a confirmed thing according to this guy. Hearthstone
Okay.
expansion. I mean, no surprise here.
Yeah.
Don't they get one like every week or something?
Every 3 months or something. Like new cards, spend more money.
Yeah. Diablo Immortal release date, which wouldn't be surprising. You know, you and I were invited to the alpha. That happened
They
late
didn't even
last
do
year.
the beta yet, though, man.
They haven't done the beta yet, and they haven't even shown us the Crusader / Necro. So I don't know.
I don't think release date's feasible. I would think that they do an open beta for the public, though.
You think?
Or yeah, I think there could be some kind of beta invites, maybe. I think that's the easy win for BlizzCon to let people play a game. I think because if they're gonna demo something and say, "Hey, man, this is BlizzCon, you participated, you can play this demo," I think Immortal's the one to do that with.
Yeah, maybe.
And I think it would be good for them if they can find a way to spin it positively. It's actually a lot more fun than people think. I think people will be like, "Oh, this is actually better than I thought it would be." So, we'll see. I don't think a release date's I don't know, man. Maybe we'll get like a generalization, like coming Christmas holiday of 21 or something. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. So he says Immortal release date. I think it's it's plausible to me that like it could be like November or something. I don't think that that's not out of the realm of possibility.
I think that's super reasonable. Yeah. You know.
A mobile announcement ? A Warcraft pet battle game, which I didn't even know was a thing until I saw some like meme tweets today.
WoW has Pokemon Go built into World of Warcraft. There's literally Pokemon Go inside of WoW. And it's a whole thing that people love. And I've played it some just to be like, let's check this out. I could see why people would like it maybe, but I'm just like, just go play Pokemon Go, I guess, instead. But it's a thing. Like people love battle pets in WoW. So maybe they're going to spin that off into it. I could see that being successful, honestly. So it makes a lot more sense than, other things.
I'll take your word for it because, I don't know.
You'll play it.
Yeah.
You'll be hard in it like you were Immortal. You're going to be neck cramped and everything. Not reading chat for 2 hours.
Yeah, well, when you're rank 1 worldwide, by the way, you got to do what you got to do to survive.
Worldwide. Oh, man.
A new heroes, maps, lore sneak peek for Overwatch 2. New heroes. I actually didn't really expect that with Overwatch 2, I guess. I didn't even think about that, to be honest.
I would expect at least a new hero or two, but how many? Like it's got a 2 on it. We better have a lot, in my opinion.
I honestly, like looking back now, like I've almost completely forgotten about Overwatch 2 and like what it really meant. It was just basically PvE, right?
I don't know. I mean, they're putting a 2 on it. It's not,
but I remember us talking about that and being like, oh, it's not really. It's like the PoE 2 thing.
Yeah, it's like a 2. Like if you're putting
I felt like PoE 2 was more deserving of the 2 than the Overwatch was. Because it was just adding PvE.
I kind of wonder how like early we saw Overwatch 2 in its development cycle. Like were the ideas completely fleshed out? Because I can tell you that playing it was like meh. Yeah. And the characters were the exact same. And it was like you're playing the same game. They just added a game mode. And like a game mode is not deserving of a number 2 at the end of it. So they had a lot of work to do to make that game justifiable, especially if they're going to put a price tag on it. Because if it's a 2, it's not going to be free, right? So, and can you just buy Overwatch 2? Do you have to buy Overwatch 1? Does it come with Overwatch 1? If you buy it, like, it's like, that's messy, man. That's just super messy. So new heroes, I think, makes sense. New maps, lore, who cares? And then sneak peek. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like I would I'll see it, right? I do like, we both like looter shooters. I don't think that's what Overwatch 2 is going to be. I don't know, but
no, I think it's just going to be a shooter. But,
yeah.
But I like Overwatch. Actually, is one of those games where when I play it, man, I have so much fun that I'm like, why don't I play this more? I can jump in Overwatch right now and have a great time playing it. It's just one of those games that just eats time, and I'm like, oh man, it's been 3 hours. Crap.
I still just find myself if I'm wanting a game, I'm just gonna play Apex. You know what I mean? Like if I'm gonna play a shooter, I'm gonna sit down and play some Apex.
I'm with you, but a lot of people don't like the BR mentality of having to gather the loot for 10 minutes just to die in the first engagement.
Yeah.
And so I understand what they're saying. I think Apex does gunplay as good as Destiny 2, which is why I think I like it so much. Like Apex, it feels good to shoot the guns in Apex. It really does. Like, I don't know what it is.
It's just faster paced combat. We both tried COD, Warzone, and it's just, I don't know, man. It's not as good. There's just like something about the gameplay that just doesn't click.
Something about Apex I like. I'm not a huge BR nut, but Apex is like, it does it.
Yeah.
It checks the boxes for me. So yeah.
We do that. New class / area reveal for Diablo 4. Now, of course, we knew the new class that was going to happen, right? That we knew that was the thing. I think the area reveal will probably be that dry steps that they talked about in quarter 3, quarter 2. They'll probably show it off.
I don't care that much about the area, dude. They better have some end game.
Well, the area will be our gameplay footage, I think. So that's what's exciting.
Well, that's cool.
To me.
Like, listen, I'm being a little bit condescending when I say it, but I really do want the area. Like, I'm interested in the areas. I want end game stuff, man. Like, please touch on PvP. Please touch on another end game activity.
Yeah, I think they will.
Like they have to. If they leave BlizzCon with no new end game activity from what we already know and no PvP talk, I'm gonna be super disappointed. I'm gonna be like, come on, boys.
But listen, now they're on this subject right now. All right, let's lock it in. Okay, so new class. Well, let's get our official Lord Fluffy new class prediction and our official PChild new class prediction.
Oh,
let's get them locked in. Let's get them locked in. Chat, go ahead and call yours out if you want to as well.
It's not going to be Necro. I'm telling you, it's not going to be Necro. Even if it is one of the start classes, it's not going to be Necro. They're going to save that for later. And I don't even know if that's going to be a starter class, but I will say we got Caster.
Do you have Caster? Sorceress?
We got Warrior Barbarian.
It's Barbarian.
We got
the Druid, who's Caster / Shapeshifter. Druid / melee, maybe even. We'll see.
Druid. So we got to have a range class, man. We got to have an archer / hunter archetype. It's going to be, is it Amazon? Does that fill that role? Is it going to be a hunter straight up just called a hunter? Is it going to be called a demon hunter? It's going to be a bow shooting ranged class.
Okay, so I want you to be as specific as possible and call it in. Lock it in. What's it going to be? What is the fourth class being added to Diablo 4 from the PChild?
It's a hunter. I don't know what they're going to name it. It's a hunter. I'm going to say hunter. Are they going to? Did they ever call it hunter in Diablo 2 or 1?
No, it was Amazon.
It was Amazon is what they called it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with Amazon's not really like bow defining though, is it? Can't they use like melee shit too?
No, I don't think so. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Chad. Like the melee was just the javelins. There could have been a melee. I actually don't remember, which is kind of.
I don't remember either. Bow and javelin. Okay, so I'll say Amazon.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a hunter. It's going to be a bow using class.
Okay, so we agree. So for the sake of the podcast, I was the one, right, that leaked the photo of the hunter back in 2019.
I'm the one that found it.
What? I tweeted it out and I tagged you. You're like, oh, tag me on that. I'm like, okay, fine.
No, I found it. You're like, yo, I'm tweeting this out.
No.
Well,
listen, I found it and I included you to make you feel good. But I'm going to stick to Hunter. I think you can make an argument for both, right? So you can make an argument for Amazon because that captures that nostalgia of everyone that loved Amazon from Diablo 2. Or you go into this new Hunter. It's kind of a new class, and that's always really sexy in the Diablo universe. Like, ooh, what's this new thing do? And maybe the Diablo 3 Demon Hunters won't be disappointed because it's like, oh, it's a hunter. It's not a demon hunter, but like maybe it's kind of the same. Like, I think it fills a lot of gaps and fills a lot of voids. I think it's a safer option than Amazon.
I do too. It's going to be a hunter class with bows, specifically with bows, not caster, not spell class, because you're going to have the mage as your caster. The hunter is going to be your bow caster. Those are your two ranges.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have the barb as melee, and you're going to have druid as a melee. I don't think druid's going to be caster very often. I think he's going to be a melee character.
Well, he was caster in the demo, so that doesn't make sense.
No, he had all melee in the demo too. What was he casting in demo? I don't even remember.
Like the
boulder?
lightning and the boulder.
I remember like getting up in it with a melee.
Yeah, because everyone wanted the shapeshift, and they only had like 6 skills or whatever. Yeah.
Right. So I think the druid's going to be. It could be that hybrid. Maybe they're going to hybrid the druid out, and he can fill all the roles. But I'm looking at him in my head as more of a melee class character, with the wolf and the bear. But maybe so they'll fill that role. But then there's only one spot left on the team.
Yeah, for Necro.
You think?
Yeah, they'll save it till next year.
Crusader,
they'll
no
have
Paladin,
me personally unveil the class. I think Paladin is likely for an expansion class because like Paladin doesn't really I feel like the game they're starting you out in such a desolate state, like there's no hope, there's nothing, right? And then maybe you like free some angel and he starts the church back up that handles all the paladins or something up, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Necro I think it just fits a vanilla Diablo better than a paladin does. I obviously want both, no questions. Obviously paladin or Necro is my number one, but
I think they could have ditched Barb and just, I don't know, man. You always got to have that warrior class, but I feel like 5 classes isn't enough. Maybe there's a 6th and they're just holding out on us. They don't want to tell us.
That would be great. Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like as Blizzard, you have that 6 in your pocket ready to go and you just lock it behind an expansion that people have to pay for, or you're like, well, let's just give them more. I mean, Blizzard's going to make you pay for it, right? Like, come on.
Right. Activision's like, what are you talking about for free? Well, oh my God. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think 6 is, maybe they're designing 6 out of the gate now and they're just going to launch 5, like you say. Keep the 1 for the expansion, instant, pay to win class.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that's why I don't think it'd be Necro as a pay to win, because I think it would be a massive meme to have Necro pay to win 2 Diablos in a row.
Well, I think you're also throwing some fluff agenda in there too. But I do agree. There's a little fluff.
I only bring up that argument because I want it to be Necro. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
No. How is that not a meme? If you have Necro as their pay-to-play class twice, back-to-back. Actually, 3 times back-to-back, really, technically.
It just is what it is. Like, that's just Necro. Necro's pay to win.
Yeah.
I do think it makes more sense to have the Paladin class is the easiest to remove from the group. You got to have some kind of melee range class. There's got to be a hunter or something, not caster. And so that's the spot. And there's only one more on the team. And then you need your pet class, got to have that pet class, which is Necro.
This, like, even talking about this in my head, like, I can't get past, like, I'm a pretty happy guy. I'm, in my daily life, right? Like, I don't have any issues whatsoever. But if they don't announce Necro for vanilla D4, I will slip into a deep and dark depression.
What if they bring back a lot of the same skills, man? What if
it doesn't matter?
Necro in D4 and it's like you're doing singularity mages or some shit again.
Still,
you know what I mean?
I'm still the face of Necro, so I'd have you having a good time. It's just weird. Yeah, it'd just be weird because I think then I would fall back to the druid, and it's like I feel like everyone's gonna be playing a druid. you
Yeah,
know?
of course, because it's new. It's
Yeah.
like we haven't played it in D3 at least for ever and
But I
ever.
feel like it might be the only class that's going to do like poison damage if there's no necro.
I think
So
poison? I think it would be lots of bleed damage.
we already saw poisons on some of
What
the
do they have it on? I don't remember.
updates. We didn't see it at the demo, but they showed some items.
Oh, okay. I was like, I didn't remember.
One of the druid items had poison on it.
Had poison on it. I think it would be cool if they had poison on everything. I would like to see every class get
Well,
access
as long as
to
it's
it.
not like the Diablo 3
100%.
poison meme. I want it to actually do
No,
poisons,
like
right?
poison,
Not
like
just poison damage, right?
Yeah, like no poison. You know,
Yeah,
none of the Diablo things. Like fire should do a dot, and poison should do a dot, and ice should freeze stuff.
Well, PoE does it great. Like fire can do ignite, or you can just do really hard fire hits. You know, like you shouldn't be locked into one or the other. I do think poison's like, well, you can't just do poison damage. You gotta actually be poisoning the enemy. So it's like a little different.
Right. Yeah.
But anyways.
Well, you can maybe handle that differently with poison over time being sped up to do like bigger hits or something too. You know, there's ways to play it. But yeah, man, I think they should add elements. I think elements are a great choice. There's so many things that they need to copy from PoE. Like they should be a requirement to be a dev or any kind of designer on Diablo 4.
Kill Awakener 8.
You have to go play Diablo or PoE.
Yeah.
I don't think you got to kill Awakener 8. Just
no,
Awakener.
you do. You do.
Just Awakener.
Because no, it's got to be Awakener 8 because just Awakener. Like you, so I'm giving some people insight. Like if you don't subscribe to our Patreon, you can't hear the pre-recording podcast. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
During the pre-recording podcast, PChild asked me, what are you doing in PoE? You just mapping? Like if you just running maps? So you know what I mean? It's just like you wouldn't have it because PChild's almost to Awakener 0. He's getting there. So you wouldn't have a proper understanding of the game if you just hit Awakener. It's got to be Awakener 8. You got to be grinding away until kill Awakener 8.
Your response was that you're using, and I forget the name of it, the little things on your map device that spawn the encounters. Like you can get the Sulfite or you can get the, whatever the different things are.
I asked if you were min-maxing your master missions. I didn't ask that because that's the answer to that question, but it's one of the answers. There's just like an infinite amount of answers to that question. Like,
listen, I'm not knocking PoE's endgame, man. It's definitely there.
I'm just bringing this up because that question is like it's not a loaded question, but like there's so many answers to it that like I wish I could just give you all the knowledge, right? Because there's a lot I could unpack from that, right? And so I think just killing Awakener will probably only give you a tiny piece of the puzzle. That's the only reason I brought that up.
Okay.
Right? So a Diablo dev, yes. So I agree with you. They should have played PoE, and they should have played PoE at least to Awakener 8 to understand the game.
Yeah, and there's so much knowledge that they could put in there, but then they would also see the shortcomings too. They could also see like this mechanically sucks. We got to make sure our game doesn't feel like this. We got to make sure that we have these. Like I'm an advocate for bitching about one-shot mechanics in PoE. I think they suck. And I've been hit by many to the point where I got my stream set up with a frame by frame replay. And I counted one of the InstaShot mechanics on stream the other day. I had 17 milliseconds, 17 frames to react. I'm like, really? 17 frames? That's like 200 and something.
Yeah,
it's a quarter of a second.
And that's PoE.
A quarter second.
That's PoE though too, because it's not about reaction, and it's unfortunate, right? It's not about reacting to a mechanic.
It's about memorizing the fights.
It's not about memorizing the fights either. It's all preventative. Everything in PoE is like preventative. Like, oh, I died to that.
I got hit with some kind of spike thing that if I would have known he was gonna cast it, I could have dodged it, but I didn't know he was gonna cast it. You know what I'm saying? So I guess that's okay unless you're playing hardcore, then you're totally effed. But it's just, I don't know, man. Like a quarter of a second reaction time to jump out of the way or move feels bad. You know what I mean? So
anyway,
I don't know. And like I said, we could learn the things. But I'm just saying, like, I think as a whole, PoE does so many things good and so many things wrong, and Blizzard could learn so much, at least from that. It's crazy.
Yeah,
how much good stuff they could take.
But yeah, so we locked it in. So you're guessing Amazon, I'm guessing Hunter, and we're gonna go back to the schedule. Okay. So that's the whole reason we went back into that, because we we wanted to show what, was leaked, quote unquote, and that might give us a better understanding of why the schedule edit is. So we left this off as we're surprised that World of Warcraft is following opening ceremony because seemingly there's so much juice that is going to be happening for Diablo versus World of Warcraft. So if we get, even if WoW gets the Burning Crusade and a new raid / a patch in World of Warcraft, I still don't know that that's bigger than a class reveal and a Diablo 2 remastered. And I mean, I don't think that Diablo 3 would be part of opening ceremony at all, but I think that there's also juice for Diablo 3. So it just seems like there's a lot more happening for Diablo than WoW, but the schedule.
You think they're gonna talk about Diablo 3 at BlizzCon Online?
Yes. What do you mean?
I think we're gonna get a portrait frame reveal or the wing reveal, the cosmetics that are included in the pack. But I don't think they're gonna talk about it much. I'd be surprised if we get a lot of Diablo 3. I'm not saying I don't think Diablo 3 has juice down the pipe. I just don't think it's gonna get a lot of playtime at BlizzCon Online.
Well, now you're asking a different question. Will it get a lot of playtime, or will we be showcased at all?
Aside from the purchasable cosmetics that you're going to get in the pack, you think they're going to talk about future plans?
Yes.
Future things?
I don't know they'll talk about future plans, but I think they'll showcase what they've been working on for Diablo 3.
Okay.
Season 23, you don't think they'll talk about Season 23 at all? Huh.
Nope.
But we've heard things, P. You still don't think that?
I don't.
Even after hearing the things, you don't think they're going to talk about it at all? Huh. Interesting. Well, when we have our podcast after day one, I could just sit here and be like, I told you so. You're wrong.
Or vice versa. Or vice versa. So we'll have to see, man. We'll have to see. Speaking of which, what's the schedule on set? Well, I guess we're going through it now. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there. So yeah, that's the big question mark. And I think we both agree, how could WoW be bigger here, right? That doesn't really make sense to us. Unless
it's gotta be Burning Crusade, but it just makes me think they don't have anything really to show us for D4. That's scary because if D2 remaster was going to happen, that's bigger. That's not bigger than a Burning Crusade classic launch. I think that's got to be the reason that WoW's in what's next is because of the Burning Crusade classic. So, and this kind of makes sense for the scheduling, right? Because World of Warcraft, what's next? They have 30 minutes scheduled. They're going to cover Burning Crusade Classic, which we already know the content there. They're just going to announce it and announce the release date and show off some screenshots or whatever the hell. So Burning Crusade announcement, 9.1. Here's what we're going to get in 9.1. Maybe World of Warcraft Battle Pets mobile game. And then that's 30 minutes. Boom, done. And then we go on to Diablo. And then Diablo's got a little bit more time. Okay, so what are we going to talk about? Immortal's going to get a half that, probably. Going to get the second half of that. They're going to set it up. If they're smart, they're going to set it up with D4 juice first, unless D2 happens, which I don't think it's going to happen. But D2 drops. They'll talk about that. Then they'll hit D4, and then they'll talk about Immortal to close it out. And then they'll be like, "Oh, and here's the stuff you're getting."
And that's your guess for Diablo. What's next?
Yeah, I think I don't.
I disagree.
I don't know if we're gonna get Diablo 2 remaster. I'm still on the fence.
Really?
Are you strong one way? You think we're gonna get it or think we're not gonna get it?
I do, and there's one more supporting piece of evidence that I want to talk about real quick.
Okay.
Hear me out. Because this is this is tinfoil hat shit. Okay.
Okay.
Now, we've been talking about weeks now that, to me, it'd be a missed opportunity for Blizzard if they were going to announce a Diablo 2 remaster and in some way didn't involve Mr. Llama. Because he's been playing that dated game for 15, 20, 50 years. I don't know, 30 years.
Okay.
So, and we haven't really seen anything from him, right? Regarding, there's a big thing happening at BlizzCon and we be part of. They invited him in 2018. That was the ultimate debate, right? They invited him in 2018, and we heard about Diablo 2 Remastered rumors back then, and so we're like, oh shit, they invited Mr. Llama. It's happening.
That was like my real exposure to him because I didn't really keep up with D2 streamers. You know what I mean? And so they invited Mr. Llama, and I'm like, well, who is this Mr. Llama guy? And so I started looking him up, and I'm like, oh, he's this really good D2 player. And then I got to meet him or whatever, and he was really cool too. So it was like, oh, dope. But
I'm in the same boat. I didn't know who he was before that BlizzCon, and everyone's like in my chat saying, oh my god, they invited Mr. Llama. Oh my god. And I'm like, who the hell is Mr. Llama? And then boom, and it's like, oh yeah, he's literally the face of D2. So to me, it seemed like a missed opportunity by Blizz if they wouldn't have involved him in some way. But most recently, on the Twitters, Mr. Llama yesterday announces he's going full-time streamer.
Oh my goodness.
Now, what could have possibly changed in the Diablo 2 universe that would make him make a decision, playing a dead game, right? Diablo 2, to make the leap? You know what I mean?
Diablo Immortal?
Diablo 3, season 23?
Season 23? Listen, if you knew. No. Yeah, man. Listen, that's tinfoil hat shit, but I'm on board. You convinced me. I'm gonna switch my vote to D2 Remastered.
Damn right.
Confirmed.
Damn right. How is that? That is some literal convincing evidence.
That is some literal, like, how do you argue that shit?
Right. Especially as streamers who would love to go full time, but like it's too scary, you know? Like, I guess you are full time now, but
yeah, sometimes you just like YOLO. You know what I mean?
Sometimes you get fired and
sometimes
you're like, fuck
you
it.
just get sometimes you just get kicked out on the curb. Sometimes you just don't eat. You know, it's fine. So
yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I think
you got me. You sold me.
All right. Easy. So we're getting Diablo 2 Remastered.
I'm Team Llama now.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
That just seems real weird.
It makes sense, right? It does. Like, you know, it makes sense.
Yeah. Unless we don't have insight. We don't know. Like,
we're gonna have some questions after. If it doesn't drop, we're gonna be like, okay,
why did you do it? Right.
What? What just happened here, man?
Right.
I mean, you know, maybe he's balling out in the D2 directory.
Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, it could be. You never know.
Yeah.
So
I'd assume he has some crazy supporters, being that he's been the most consistent guy streaming an old game forever, right?
Yeah.
So.
I mean,
yeah. Okay, and then so that's your prediction for Diablo. What's next, right? So mine, going back to that section, right? So the Diablo What's Next, which is an hour and 40 minutes, right? So twice as long.
Wait. Diablo's What's Next is an hour 40?
I'm sorry, 40. Math.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, wait, what did I miss? Okay, yeah.
My bad. All right. Which is, 10 minutes longer than World of Warcraft What's Next.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we'll get them talking about the Diablo 4 class.
Okay.
Actually,
I can agree with that.
I think first and foremost, let's go with that. Diablo 4, new class, they're going to talk about that first. Second, they're going to talk about, because this is 10-minute increments. So 10 minutes, they're going to talk about the class and what.
Hold on. Have they already dropped the D2 juice?
Yes,
in the
opening ceremony. Yes.
They dropped it?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'm with you. All right.
Okay, so first 10 minutes, they're talking about Diablo 4. And, what made them decide on the new class and the new zone that comes with the class or whatever. Right? So I think that we should have probably consulted Nineball maybe before the pod, because he would have a probably clear definition of all the zones they're going to have in vanilla D4 and what that means for like character classes. We should probably have asked him. But maybe we'll know. We'll know next time.
But then we might guess correctly, and that takes the fun out of it.
What I already guessed correctly because it's gonna be Hunter.
No, I already know it's gonna be Hunter too. Like
you said, Amazon. You can't change your answer.
I said a bow using.
You're Amazon. Blast. I'm Hunter. Because
back me up.
I leaked the photo.
No, see, this is why we got to talk about stuff ahead of time, because you're like, no, you said Amazon. No, I said Hunter. My final answer was a Hunter-based class. And I found the picture. So listen, I'm gonna tell a story real quick. We're walking through. I say,
This isn't
Fluff, there's a
Fox
picture
News.
of a
This is the
hunter.
new meta podcast. This is real
And
news.
Fluff is like, yo, I'm gonna tweet that out. I'll tag you on it though. Hold on.
That's not how that went down. I was like, wait a minute. This is exactly like the ones we saw. This is something. I'm tweeting this out. And you're like, oh yeah, tag me on that. Because you were with me and you felt some deserving rights on it.
You know what? I got the old cell phone somewhere when I was vlogging everything. I want to see if I got the vlog of that. All right, do it up.
Okay, so first 10 minutes, Diablo 4. They're talking about the new zone. They're talking about why I decided on that class, blah, blah, blah. Next 10 minutes, Diablo 2 remaster. Okay? They're talking about it's coming this time and like, look at this. It looks really cool. And like, you remember this from D2? That's fun, right? It looks good now. Yeah. Okay, next 10 minutes. Diablo Immortal, when it's coming out.
Okay. Just that. Oh, not a big segment?
Maybe some of the gameplay of the Necro, the Crusader, whatever, right?
Okay.
They've got their, because this is all pre-recorded, right? This is why this is a little different, I think, than past BlizzCons, because this isn't gonna, nothing about this is going to be live. The only thing that's live is they're going to be like clicking the play button.
Yeah, nothing's live.
Yeah.
This is going to be like so perfectly worded, edited, scripted.
Perfectly
music.
scripted,
Perfect.
timed,
Yes.
10-minute segments, or it fills up this exact time period precisely. Okay, and then at the end of the Diablo What's Next, Season 23. Here's what's in store. 10 minutes.
Okay.
And that is
10
why...
minutes? 10 minutes? No.
Yep.
No way,
Every
bro.
Diablo gets 10 minutes in the Diablo What's Next.
10? There's no way. There's no way they got 10 minutes of D3 juice.
Of course they do.
No. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't think so, but okay. They'll be.
You don't even
like,
think they're going to talk about Season 23, and I think you're wrong. So
I don't. I think they're going to talk about like, here's the cosmetics you get with the package. Like, oh, check out these wings and transmog set that's related to Diablo 2 Reforged. But what? How could? What are the? Okay, let's shift real quick.
Okay.
What is the cosmetic transmog outfit set, whatever you want to call it, we're going to get in Diablo 3?
it is something to do with Diablo 2. Some kind of
You think so?
very clear, cosmetic that you see it and you'd be like, oh, Diablo 2. I don't know what that is.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
what would that be?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know.
Like, what does he even look like? I can't even remember.
It's wings, right?
But it's a whole set.
It's
There's
a whole set
transmog
plus
set.
wings.
And he doesn't. Does he even have wings? I don't think he does, really.
I don't know, man.
I got pictures pulled up, but it's like,
The only I think it was like Endariel.
I mean, Mephisto looks like Diablo-ish. That must be like some concept art somebody drew. I don't know how they could pull it off, but it's got to be D2 some way, because it doesn't make sense for a while. They're not going to give you a Burning Crusade transmog set. That's silly. And then WoW doesn't have anything else big coming out. And if it's Diablo 4 related, then it would have to tie into the new class they're going to reveal, or a new boss they're going to reveal.
Yeah.
And Lilith is the boss in our minds. I don't know why they would spoil that. Like, they should keep it that way,
Right.
in my opinion. So it's got to be a D2. That's just more fuel for the D2 remastered, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like someone in chat said Tyrael. I think the armor set, I think we basically already have Tyrael wings, though.
Tyrael's wings were like bonus for
Yeah.
pre-ordering vanilla, right?
Right.
Or,
So maybe they'll just give us that. That would be weird, though, because
That would
people that
suck,
already have
yeah.
it would be like upset.
I'd be pissed.
But maybe the wings aren't part of the set. I don't know.
You can't give away Tyrael because the collector's edition's value comes from that.
Yeah.
Like, those wings are super coveted. Like, I have a set, I'll never take them off because it's like, yo, this is the thing. And I'd be upset. I know everybody would have had them.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. It's got to be a character from D2. I don't know what they could make from it. So
Yeah.
I'm with you. You've convinced me enough, man. Thinking about things, I'm convinced. I think between Llama going full time and the transmog set clearly is based off something they can't tell us because they're not showing us what it is.
Yep.
that's D2 D2. Those are two super crazy things pointing to D2.
I agree. And then to read the Diablo 2 or Diablo What's Next, it says members of the Diablo development team discussed the latest content coming to Sanctuary. So that doesn't really give us any more insight, but I just thought I should read that just in case. You know what else is weird here? Oh, I guess this is the voice of Deckard Cain. This tiny little, teeny tiny segment. That's.
I mean, how long is he gonna talk?
What is that? It's 10 minutes between the developer roundtable and Diablo What's Next.
That's cool. You'll probably hear him do an interview and say a couple lines that we like.
So
You know what I thought was really, really cool? Like this in the voice acting thing.
What?
Destiny 2 voice actor is Lance Reddick. I don't know if you know, he's an actor.
Yeah.
He does the voice of Zavala in Destiny. And apparently he plays a little bit too. So the new expansion came out for Destiny and some stuff goes down. And somebody tweeted at him. And they tweeted at him and they said, hey, would you how cool would it be if Zavala said this in this scenario? And the scenario was like he was telling somebody to go F off. You know what I mean? And so they wrote this script out. And Lance Reddick saw the tweet and actually recorded it in Zavala's voice, and tweeted back at him.
Nice.
And did it. It was cool as hell, dude. Like I watched the tweet and I was like, oh, that was badass. And it got crazy views. I mean, he had a couple million views on the thing. But
so would you have the same feels for a Deckard Cain?
I personally don't, because I'm not a Deckard Cain. Listen, man, Diablo 1 I never played. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe I played it a little on PlayStation. Diablo 2 I played through the campaign maybe twice 20 years ago. I don't really remember it that well. You know? And then Diablo 3, to be honest, man, I haven't played the campaign forever either in Diablo 3. You know, I don't care that much about it. I guess, but no, not him. I you hear Tyrael talk 24/7. I'm more close to him than I have to be Deckard.
I think that for me, I played a ton of Diablo 2. Obviously, I played a ton of Diablo 3. I actually still have to date never touched Diablo 1. But, if you would have probably asked me before Diablo 3, I've been like, oh, cool, Deckard Cain. I don't know. Something about Diablo 3 just made Deckard Cain super annoying to me for some reason. I guess maybe the longer I played Diablo 2 as well, because every single time you go to identify Adams, he's like, stay a while. And it's, geez, come on, shush. Yeah, he's kind of a meme to me, so I don't really pog out for this. And seeing him back in Immortal as well, his voice, I don't know, it just kind of annoys me. If I'm being really honest.
I like voice acting. I like watching voice acting behind the scenes. That's something that I kind of enjoy a little bit. I don't want to spend hours doing it, but I want to see the people that voice the characters I like.
Yeah, that's true.
And it goes into cartoons even. I remember looking up the Ninja Turtle, because I grew up in the 80s, right? So the Ninja Turtle cartoon was the biggest thing ever for me as a kid. And I remember, in my mid 20s or when YouTube first started becoming, a thing, is looking up voice actors for the original Ninja Turtles. And when you put faces to them, it's like, oh man, that's weird. But Final Fantasy VII Remake, when we played that, I definitely looked up the voice actors that played all the characters on that. And like I said, Lance Reddick for Destiny and Cade 6 in Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's cool, man. I paid attention a little bit when we were at BlizzCon. They did the Overwatch panel with the voice actors, and they were doing the voices up on stage. It's entertaining for a couple minutes, I'm down. 10 minutes to things enough though. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, I think that the fact that it is 10 minutes, it'll make it a bit more interesting. I've actually never seen this Michael go, and I'm not going to Google a picture of him because I think that will make that 10 minutes more exciting.
It'll be interesting to see what he looks like. What I did? Did you ever play the God of War, the new God of War game on PS4, or have you seen the memes where he's like, boy, come here, boy? Have you seen that stuff?
I saw the one where he was at the Game Awards and he said boy.
So you've seen the actor? You see what he looks like? I Googled him. I was like, this has to be the biggest badass MFer on the planet because his voice is perfect for that role. Boy. And I looked him up and he is, man. He's this huge old, built ass dude. So it's like, oh, cool. He fit. When you saw him, you're like, okay, yeah, I can see that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So yeah, man, I'm not pogging out for it, but I will definitely go back and rewatch that. I think I'm probably going to be freaking out over the What's Next segment. And probably won't even pay that much attention to the Deckard Cain stuff, but I'll go back and watch it later on.
Yeah.
You know?
And
the
then-
same, like I'm interested in the WoW stuff too. I'm definitely gonna go back
Lol.
and see what's going on at the WoW.
And then after Deckard Cain is the Diablo Developer Roundtable. Join the development team for a roundtable discussion about recent learnings and more.
What does that mean?
Learnings.
Recent learnings in remastering a game? Recent acquirements? They just couldn't use the word acquirements? Vicarious visions? Maybe? I don't know. That's cool, man. The development roundtable. I don't know what they could... Do you think they're going to give us insight on the PvP stuff, maybe?
It's weird to see, like, what's the difference between a Diablo What's Next? Because we look later in the schedule and Diablo Deep Dive, we delve deeper into Diablo with the development team. What is the difference between the Diablo Developer Roundtable and the Diablo Deep Dive, where they're delving deeper with Diablo with the development team? Because they're both developers.
Maybe the round table is like them sitting around just having discussions about, oh man, I remember when I was trying to do this and like this happened, and they're telling stories. Maybe. And Deep Dive is...
I think it's two different games. I think one of them is the D4 and one of them is the D2.
Okay. Maybe. They're going to talk for 40 minutes about remaking a game that we already know the story of?
Of course.
Okay. And so what's the
I'm with you. I would think I would kind of prefer like just all that to be Diablo 4 juice, but
yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not going to say I'm not excited for a D2 remaster. I definitely am, because A, it's Diablo juice, and it's a PC version of Diablo juice that's made in 2020, 2021, 2019, whenever they started development.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a true and genuine rebuild from the ground up, they're not just retexturing assets, which they couldn't, then like I expect it to look ridiculous. I expect it to look D3, D4. What if they took D4 engine? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if we have like, yeah, man, some of the fundamental stuff that we're throwing in D4 was kind of developed with D2 remaster. Like, I mean, who's to say what they're doing with this? This could be crazy, crazy awesome. Yeah. Or I could be totally over ambitious and it could be like, yeah, we use D3's engine and rebuilt Diablo 2. Like, I don't know. But I'm excited for it, man.
Yeah.
How less excited would you be if it's 100? I phrase that in a way that sets you up. Let me rephrase it. Will you be excited or unexcited if it's a 1-to-1 copy of Diablo 2?
I mean, I will definitely be about 500% less excited if it's a 1-for-1 copy, because I know what to expect. I know it's there. I think it'll be fun to play through it again. I definitely think there's like, if it's just a straight up 1-to-1 master, I definitely think there's like 3 to 6 months of going ham on that game still to like rediscover and all that. But it'll be so cringe when you make it to the end game and you're like, damn, I'm literally just like leaving remaking game all the time. Yeah, but
I haven't done Diablo 2 leave remake games. Like I didn't play Diablo 2 that much. I just went through the campaign, but I did do some Borderlands 2 leave and remake game, farm boss, leave and remake game, kill boss, like over and over and over, trying to get drops, and that shit sucks. It's like, this isn't fun. You know what I mean?
What level of your hype is based on how good it looks too? Because there's that one thing. Because like right now there's
it's a thing, man.
Yeah, right now the community did like a remaster and like they're kind of pushing it out faster because they think that the real one's coming or whatever. Yeah, and it still looks like hot garbage. And yeah, I guess I think that if we see the Diablo 2 remaster and it's just kind of like touched up, I think that would be pretty disappointing too. Like if it's not visually stunning.
If it looks worse than D3, I'm super bummed. I'm probably like maybe not playing it very much. You know, I'll be like, oh, this is cool. Like it supports 1080p, nice, but it still looks like crap. So like, yeah, man, it definitely matters.
I'm trying to find anything. Sorry,
I expect it to look much better than Diablo 3. I would be severely disappointed if it doesn't. There's a lot of games that just look beautiful, and I think that adds to the enjoyment of the game. Is this the project you're talking about? Hey, look, is that PoE's interface? Right there? Oh, damn, it is. Like 1-to-1
Like almost. This looks better than the original, but like This would
but
be
it still looks like
disappointing.
shit. If
Yeah.
they gave us something like this, I would be super bummed out. If
Me
it
too.
doesn't look like if it doesn't look next gen quality, if it's not a 2020 release, it's got to look better than Wolcen. It's got to look better than Diablo 3. It's got to look better than PoE. It's got to look better than any ARPG we've played.
Yeah.
Up to this point.
I never even really considered that, like, until now. For some reason, like, well, what if we get the remaster, but like it still looks not very cool. Like it looks old. It looks dated.
Yeah. That would suck, man.
It would.
I would be super bummed out. But so, we'll have to see what they end up doing with the D2 remaster. I hope. I shouldn't say I hope. I haven't played D2 in so long. It'll be fun for me to play through the campaign a couple times, But if it's a leave game, remake game scenario, I don't know how interested I'll be a month or two into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What are you doing tonight, Pete? Oh, I'm going to spend the next 6 hours leaving and remaking game, farming the same boss for a drop.
Yeah.
Like,
it's pretty wild, like watching, I've tuned into Llama, like grinding. And it's like, man, like he's really fast at it and it's insane.
Yeah.
But yikes. It is like, it's like key farming, but maybe even worse. Or, not key farming. It's like rift farming, like rift fishing.
But
like,
it's
I didn't
different,
get,
though. It's
the
different.
map.
Like you grow up with the games, though, because I think about how 4 years ago I was in love with Destiny, right?
Yeah.
And like Destiny hasn't evolved since Destiny 2 dropped. I mean, it has little bits, but there's nothing revolutionary. The game is still the same as Destiny 1 for the most part. Like the core fundamental game is very similar to what it was when it dropped in 2014. And it's like, I'm not in love with it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't know, as a gamer, I'm just past that point, or if it's because I'm older, I'm past that point, but whatever it is. So when you go back and you think about these old games that you love to play, even though nostalgically you can remember them so well, when you actually sit down and start doing it, you're like, man, is this really what I want to do in 2021? Is this really what I want to do at this age of my life? Just leave game, new game, leave game, new game. I want new stuff. I want better than that.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Agreed.
So it's kind of nutty how you change through that. But I'm still excited. Like, I don't remember the campaign. I really don't. So at worst case scenario, I'll get to play through the campaign and enjoy the crap out of that. You know what I mean? So changed or unchanged. But I never thought about the graphics either, dude. If it doesn't look like Diablo 4-ish, I'm gonna be super disappointed. Like if it, like that's just what you expect, right? Didn't you expect it to look Diablo 4-ish?
Yeah, I mean, in my head when I envisioned this, I guess I kind of did. I guess let's look at so Warcraft. Was it Reforged? 3 Reforged? What did that game look like?
No,
like
man,
crap?
You're scaring me now. I think. Do Warcraft 3 Reforged versus original or something so we can see.
I mean, this is okay.
Because I don't even know what the original looks like anymore. Like I haven't. I'm not a Warcraft fanboy.
Classic
it looks
versus
like
Reforged.
it's just like updated textures, man. There we go. Oh, they have it for a sec.
I mean, it looks better.
But it's not like. I don't know, man. That's scary, isn't it?
It is.
That scares me a little bit. But that team got replaced by Vicarious, right?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the deal, So I don't know, man. Great. We just ruined the whole mood. Everybody's scared. Everybody that's listening to the podcast right now is going, "Oh shit, we didn't think about this. We expected this." So
yeah, I mean, they can really make it look whatever they want and call it a resurrected,
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Right. And if Llama's going full time, they've been consulting him, and Llama still loves 64. Like he still
Let's look at
64 and all that stuff.
Tony Hawk Classic versus what was
it Pro Skater 2?
Versus remaster?
Yeah. I don't remember what version it was. Here we go. And who did this one? Did Vicarious didn't do this, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, they did this one?
Yeah.
Okay, so Vicarious is this. Oh yeah, look at that shit. Vicarious is good, man. Like
Yeah, that's like way better.
That's night and day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, you know.
Yeah.
All right, that gives us, like, look at the helicopter. Like, that
There's
gives
hope.
us some hope. There's
Yeah.
hope. Yeah, and this is done by the same team. This
Yeah.
is done by Vicarious, who, like I
Vicarious.
said, like I have some faith in them, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The dream.
All
Oh,
right, it's
way
restored.
better.
It's restored. We're feeling we're feeling better. We're about to end the podcast and go cry in the corner.
Yeah.
What else do we have about the schedule, man? Is there anything else on here that, like, when's the Overwatch stuff? Oh, day
Well,
2.
we're not done with Diablo 2 or
Okay,
Diablo. Okay.
All right, let's go.
Okay. So we talked about the 2 developer things. In between those, we have the Gothic Word of Braum. Legendary artist Braum sits down for a one-on-one interview to discuss his inspiration for all of his haunting contributions to the Diablo franchise. So it is the Braum guy is the artist. Hosted by the person who may know him the best, better than anyone, his son. Interesting. So that's pre-recorded, obviously. And so that's it for day 1, right? And so if you guys are tuning in live that day, New Meta podcast will happen somewhere around 8 o'clock, probably 7:30, 8 o'clock, somewhere in there. And then day 2, starting out the day at 2 p.m. Central Standard, we get a Diablo Q&A. And if you guys don't know, they've been tweeting out like basically a place you can go to ask your questions, and I assume that they'll randomly select
select the ones that fit the answer they want to give
from a list
they
of
wouldn't do
approved
that.
questions.
Why don't you submit one?
I'm gonna.
You could be like,
you can even submit a video. So here we go.
Will Diablo Immortal be released on the PC?
Just re-ask the question I asked at 2018 BlizzCon. Yeah, that's a sure way to piss some people off. All right. And then all the channels from 3 to 4 are getting a community showcase, and I don't think this will be probably different than.
What does this even mean? Is this like
it says host Darren DePaul, which is he's the Overwatch voice guy? Is that right?
Is it? Who does the drag queen show? Isn't his name DePaul? What's the drag queen thing?
No, it is. I'm right. It is. It's the Overwatch guy, the voice.
What the hell am I thinking of? There's some. Hold on.
RuPaul?
Yeah, RuPaul. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, 90s, 90s kid. You can tell it right there. All right. And then after that is Artists at Work, Diablo Hive Mother Part 1. So this one's joint artists from the Diablo team to see a beginning sketch phase, bringing monsters to life in Sanctuary. And then that continues. I don't know why they even have this as Part 1, Part 2. Why wouldn't they just block off the whole amount of time?
Because they're, one's about a different game.
Even though artists from the Diablo team continue their work of fleshing out a boss monster.
Maybe they're doing it live. Maybe it's a live. There's no way though.
I don't know.
That's a lot, dude. That's 2 hours, man. 2 hours of them drawing a hive, like painting a hive or whatever. Like, okay, that just is like we didn't have anything to fill the slot with, is what it feels like. But
then at the same time, and I saw Riker was really pogging out for this because Riker's a big Dungeons and Dragons guy. But Critical Role, I had to Google them. They are
it's a huge. They're a huge. They're like
huge.
one of the biggest.
Yeah, I just didn't know what they were.
Shows, period. Yeah.
Critical Role hosts a custom Diablo themed adventure about a band of warriors pursuing whispered rumors of something ancient and evil stirring beneath the ruins of Old Tristram.
So that's cool. If you're, I know that the two worlds intermingle a lot between ARPGs and D&D players. You know what I mean? I've never played D&D in my life.
Yeah.
Have you? Never?
No.
I've tried to think about possibly maybe playing, and I got invited to read some things and do some stuff, and I was like, I don't think this is for me, man. I just, it's not my thing. But I do have heard of Critical Role. They're like massively large. Their following is ridiculous, so it's hard not to have heard of them at least. So I'll tune in for it probably a little bit. It seems a little bit more interesting to me than the art, thing.
Yeah.
But I might flip-flop back and forth at that point just to see like what's kind of going on in each one. So maybe the D&D thing will turn me. Maybe it'll make me a believer. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe.
You wanna play some D&D, Fluff? New Meta presents the new meta campaign.
Yeah,
There it
maybe
is.
after seeing this thing, I'll be a changed man.
Maybe you'll be like, I'm totally not addicted to D&D. Every night you're sitting here just writing your campaign and rolling the dice,
Making my
theory
dungeon.
crafting.
Like, oh
Crafting
man, I
about your
can't wait to
dungeon.
make PChild follow this trap.
Oh, we're gonna put a trap here because I know his favorite number is 9. Oh my god. No, it's cool though. So I know the worlds intermingle quite a bit.
Yeah.
So this will be interesting because I'm gonna probably tune in for that a little bit and see what it's about and see if it's interesting and if it's my cup of tea at all.
Yeah. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of
Funny.
it with the schedule. I think that the big takeaways here are, WoW's a big presence, Diablo's a big presence, Hearthstone, big, Overwatch, big. And then basically if you follow anything else, you're like Diablo was 2 years ago. Basically.
Right. Those StarCraft news. I guess that's the strategy portion
Yeah.
of the schedule.
StarCraft and Here's the Storm. Just
StarCraft
But-
Legends got a 2-hour block. What is that?
no idea.
Best players from StarCraft to StarCraft 2 clash as a team. Okay, so that's like an actual event. That StarCraft Legends is actual
Esports.
legendary real esports players fighting against each other.
Which is cool.
So
I'd be interested in that. But
yeah,
if I
the
was into that.
Overwatch stuff too. So I just want to hit the schedule. Like, what are they doing with it? They got behind the scenes of Overwatch 2 is their first big ticket item, which makes me again like I guess they're not showing off.
Yeah. Imagine this was us,
know?
right? Like, let's walk down that path for a second, right? So
Okay, like we're Overwatch streamers.
we're
Okay.
Overwatch streamers / hardcore fans, and we got a juicy 40-minute segment of behind the scenes. And we're like, okay, cool, that's gonna be like the juice. And then after that, we have voices of Diablo for like over an hour and 30 minutes.
Right.
How do you think we feel?
They've done that panel too. They did that same panel in 2019. It's like if you're on that panel, do you just be like, hey, you got your script from 2 years ago? Like, are we just gonna redo this?
We're going again, boys.
Yeah. So like it's interesting to watch that for a couple minutes, but I don't think a 2-hour segment's that much. And then
a
that's it.
soundtrack creation after that.
Like yuck.
Yeah, I'd be pretty sad.
I'd be more interested in sound effects. Like how are you getting your gun noises and stuff,
Yeah. And nothing really day 2 either.
There's a league game.
Yeah.
But that's just like another day on Twitch, really.
Yep.
Yeah, man. You know what? I'm happy. I kind of feel good that Diablo's got the juice, that we're on the winning side of this BlizzCon schedule for a change. It's like, we're like, ooh.
What's really cool? Like, imagine this world for a minute, right? So BlizzCon 2024, right, is basically a copy of the Hearthstone schedule. This is like dream scenario. Okay, so you've got the deep dive because they're going to talk about, okay, here's what's coming in Diablo 4. Here's her character pack that's coming. Basically, maybe like a PvP stream where like people are going crazy against each other. And then day 2, you've got like a whole, streamer showdown in Diablo 4, whatever that means. And maybe some esports surrounding it. That'd be poggers.
Yeah.
And then like a Q&A to start out the day. Like that'd be dream to me. Like instead of, I don't want to like shame any like the art panels and stuff like that, but like that'd be so much more exciting to me.
Yeah, man. But you know what all that's based around is PvP.
Yeah.
Like so much of that was based around PvP not sucking in Diablo 4. And that's what I keep trying to tell people. PvP could carry this game as much as PvE.
True.
And so many people play Diablo 3 for the PvE and they get pissed off like, oh, it doesn't belong in the game. And I'm like, it so does.
Yeah.
It's so good for the game.
But agree.
Brings fresh blood.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean there isn't any PvE.
Yeah. I think
so. I really hope they hit it, man. I hope they hit it hard. I hope they give us a little bit of taste of what they're doing with PvP because I'm afraid they're gonna goof it up pretty bad. I'm afraid it's going to be like, yo, we made this PvP zone, and when you're in this zone, you can like kill each other with one shots because you do 10 billion damage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, okay.
So
That's not.
if we examine schedule, is there any scenario where, well, I guess walk me through what is best case scenario for BlizzCon 2021 for you, and then what is the scenario where you walk away maybe disappointed?
BlizzCon, this BlizzCon
This
is 2021.
Yeah.
Okay. What I'm excited if they announce the D2 Reforged and it looks amazing. It looks like a next gen game. Even if it's a 1-to-1 copy, I'm not as excited, but I'm still excited. And they give me Diablo 4 concrete information we didn't have prior to, specifically about PvP and or in-game, like activities. You know, I want some in-game activities. What are they gonna have us spending our time doing in Diablo 4? Whether that's PvP or in-game activities, both would be nice. And then a D2 remaster, I'm good. Those are some amazing things. I'm pretty happy at that point. Icing on the cake would be like, you know, they're gonna, I don't know, reveal the next character class, and it's something that I'm super excited about. And I don't know, Immortals gonna, I don't really care, actually, honestly. So yeah, that's it. That's my thing. And to make me disappointed, they rehashed the same Diablo 4 info we've already gotten since BlizzCon 2019. They just find different ways to spin it, but it's basically the same stuff. We get concept art and enemy character creations and concept art, and we get like enemy factions or races, or maybe a boss reveal and the next character class reveal, but we don't get any in-game, any PvP, any itemization, any of the things that really matter for the game. You know, we're just getting the concept art and the development struggles, and Corona's been so tough and pushed us back and this and that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want excuses about Corona anymore, dude. Like, we've all been there through it. Let's just, you know, push forward. So like, to me, that's the biggest negatives. Yeah. And
Okay.
no D2, I guess. What about you? What do we got?
Yeah. You know, best case scenario, we get, you know, D4 next class, and it's something cool. And we do get more details, like maybe they've rethought this. I mean, because they said they hadn't completely landed on the skill tree. Like they said, you know, like, oh, we like this, we're going to iterate on it, kind of thing. So maybe
I hope that gets opened up a lot.
So maybe they open that discussion back up, or at least showcase something that actually looks pretty good. Do talk about a new end game activity, at least one, and then do revisit PvP, because it is alarmingly quiet on the Blizzard end as far as PvP is concerned, and we don't want to, you know, a D3 again, basically, where they promise it the whole time and then sack it at the very last second.
It'd be cool if they give us a PvP game mode.
Yeah.
Like we getting King of the Hill, we getting Capture the Flag,
BR.
Yeah, BR. Like what if any? I don't think they would tell us about BR. I think people would try to meme it.
Yeah.
And it's such a good idea. I hope they don't, actually.
And then a D2 remaster. I think best case for that game is, one, it looks great. Two is they have what we talk about week after week of, you've got your true 1-to-1 perfection game mode that will satisfy all hardcore Diablo 2 fans. And then for those of us that want to play a game from the last century, they have an adventure mode, basically. I think that would be fantastic. And I don't think it'd probably be out of the realm of development, because how hard would it be to just basically implement a rift in Diablo 2? I don't know. So yeah, I would hope for that, of course. I mean, even a leaderboard would actually be kind of cool, since Diablo 2 only ever had the ladder. Anyways, but yeah, I think that's, and then obviously, you know, season 23 juice popping off. You know, again, if all those rumors are true, I think that I'll be pretty satisfied with that information. And then I mean, I guess it'd be nice to finally know when Immortal's coming out. I guess, like, plan around it maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know how I feel about Immortal. Like part of me, like Immortal was a good game. It's a good mobile game. It's just 1,000,000% not the platform I want to play a game on.
Yeah.
And that really matters to me. It matters more than I actually thought it would. You know what I mean? Like I didn't like streaming it. I didn't like playing it unless I was, like in bed. And if I'm in bed, I'm not really wanting to play a game anyways. Like I'll just get up and go to my PC.
Yeah.
So it sucks, man, because I such a good thing that they could port to Switch. Like if they would just port the game to Switch, it could be like so good. You know what I mean?
Import the game to the Switch and then no cash shop. I'd play that game for sure.
Port it to Switch. No
I might
cash
even play
shop.
that game for multiple seasons.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If they ported it to Switch with no cash shop, that could be a D3 replacement straight up. Like I would play this over D3.
Probably true, actually.
Yeah, but the problem is it's not. It's on
Yeah.
a mobile phone with a fucking cash shop, and it's like, come on, dude. Like I don't want to play my phone, man. I
Yeah.
just don't.
I get it.
And I hate it. I hate to say that because I think it's a really good game, and I think so much effort went into making it a good game that I think there's going to be a lot of people that are just like me that are like, this is a good game, but I don't really want to play it. I'm going to play something else on PC.
Yeah, I think for me, I don't see there's a scenario where their game comes out and I don't play it. I think that there's a 100% chance that when the game comes out, I play it. I'm on top of it. I'm rank 1 worldwide, Necro main. And then it's just a matter of how long until that release window to how bad we discover the cash shop is.
Win. Yeah.
Right. And
once the pay to win gets exploited, it'll be, you'll play it until you log on to leaderboard one day.
Yeah.
And you see some dude that surpassed you and you're like, what the?
Yeah. I see PChild's over me because you spent $500.
Yeah. Like, how did he get all this stuff?
Yeah.
Like he's got all this loot, all this gear.
With my 20 plus hour uptime and he's got better stuff than me. I'd be like, I mean, did you though?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Listen, if you want to wreck Fluff, here's what we're going to do. Okay. We're going to start when Immortal drops.
GoFundMe for PChild.
I'm going to have a GoFundMe set up where 100% of the proceeds will go to in-game cash shop items to surpass Fluff on the leaderboards, thus forcing him to quit or to pay money on the game.
There's a 0% chance that I would boot up Immortal and ever pay a dime if that dime was for my character power. There's a 0% chance that would ever happen.
Yeah. I'm the same, man. I won't spend money on character power. I'm even like PoE, I think, has a pretty good balance. They're a little predatory and you have to have their stash spaces to prop. I don't know how you could play the game with the default stash. I don't know if you could, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like an illusion that you can play for free because you can, but I don't know how you would do any in game without at least some currency tab and some map tab. Like those two at minimum, right? So it's but it's okay because the game's worth it. By the time you realize you have to have those things, you've already made up your mind if you're enjoying the game or not enjoying the game. And if you're enjoying it, then that's cool, man. The developers deserve a couple dollars. So
yeah. Okay, and so that's best case scenario. I think worst case scenario, I kind of mirror the opinion. So like if D4, we get just the class and, gameplay footage and the dry steps. I would pog out for that, don't get me wrong. But if there's no more like kind of in-depth analysis of endgame or PvP, I kind of walk away wanting a lot more. And that's a little disappointing. I don't know that I can be disappointed when it comes to Diablo 4, like it's in terms of juice.
What if they don't give us anything? What if it's all D2 remaster? Are you disappointed?
Yeah, I think
or are you sad?
That's sad too. And then for Diablo 2 Resurrected, I think worst case scenario there is one. It is in fact just a 1-for-1, and it doesn't even look that much better. I'd still play it, but I'd be like, dang, like this could have been more to me. And then no talk of D3 at all would be a Sag. And then
I don't know if I could play D2 if it looked bad.
a immortal talk and them saying like, "This is the cash shop," and it's like even worse or something.
They
Or
would
if it
touch
is
that with a 10-foot pole.
I know,
dude.
I
There's
know.
no way.
I'm
the
just saying
cash
worst
shop
case
would make
scenario.
Blizzcon.
Worst case
Yeah,
scenario.
they would be so, dude. If they did that, they would be so stupid. They would be like, "I didn't think you could fuck up worse than 2018. You did. Like you just did." If you talk about cash shop, you know.
Yeah.
So.
And then something that's not on the schedule that I did kind of want to briefly talk about. I don't even know if we can talk about it. But one of the things, and someone asked earlier, is like, where's all the room for like watching videos or like Q&A, like the stuff that happens at a normal BlizzCon, where basically like streamers and journalists are get funneled into a room and they get asked questions.
I know that there's going to be some Q&A stuff. Okay, and so you're right. I don't know what we can say.
Right. I just wanted to allude to the fact that it is seemingly happening.
It is happening.
So we're gonna get more than what we're seeing on the schedule. I think is what I wanted.
And
we
didn't even think about like if we somehow got invited to that, which I don't know if we are or not. But if we did, would we even be able to do it if we're trying to do other live stuff? If we're like, let's say we're doing a new meta, and they're like, "Yo, you want to do it right here?" So that could potentially affect our new meta times if one of us or both of us got invited to a thing,
Yeah, but I think
if they do a thing
happens during BlizzCon. So I don't think our plan is to new meta during BlizzCon. It'd be really post.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the scheduling yet, so
we don't know
of anything. But you're right. There is. It's jam packed.
Yeah, there's definitely other stuff.
I don't think anything's live though. I don't think the Q&As are going to be live.
I don't know either. There's the one Q&A, but I think that's the community one. They've been asking for questions and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think the streamer and media ones are going to be behind closed doors, and then is Blizzard just going to put that footage out there? I don't understand. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's weird. I never thought about it.
Yeah,
so we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, just a little insight for some of you guys that are asking. I don't know how much I could say, but I know that there's more than that's being that's happening. It's being shown. So there's that.
Maybe they'll throw some of that in. What's this Blizz stuff? Oh, that's just highlights and stuff.
I don't know. And that's kind of, as far as BlizzCon is concerned, all we kind of had to talk about, right?
Chat said invite Fluff.
Lol.
Oh man,
chat's toxic as always. One of the things that popped back up on Reddit this week, and I know we've kind of beat this topic to the ground, right? So this guy is saying, I hope D4 is cross-platform and cross-saving at launch. Do we really want that?
Sure. Cross-save, yes. Like, what
so
does cross-save
you'd be able
matter?
to boot up your Xbox and play on your character, and then you log off, and then later that night you're on your PC and you log on the same character.
That's here's my reasoning. That's cross save. My reasoning for that is scenarios like mine, for example, where I play games with my kids. Now, my youngest son is a PC gamer because I raised him right. But no, I'm just joking. But we do play console games together. And if I were to play Diablo with my son, I would play it on console. I don't know why I have that reasoning. I just think that it's easier for him to get his head wrapped around on console. And I don't know why that really would be. It's kind of the same game, but I don't know. I just feel that way. But I could definitely see myself in a scenario where like I'm playing with my son on PlayStation, and then we're pew-pewing, and then like to me, if my son's like, hey, I want to play Diablo, there's no way I'm going to play a fresh character with him alone, because I'm going to want to play my character that's got all my juice, right? So I'm going to be like, well, let me get on my character. So it cross-platform.
Wouldn't that be less exciting for him, right?
If I was carrying him, yes.
Yeah.
But to me, I would be like, I want to play on my main account at least, so I'm progressing something.
Yeah.
Like even if I'm playing a new character, at least I'm making blood shards for my main. Like I'm just going to use D3 terminology because that's what we only know right now, right? But maybe I get that drop that's worth something on my main character. You know what I mean? And I can actually use it. So I could see that scenario where it's like I'm playing with him or playing with other people on console, and then like, all right, it's time for me to play by myself, or whatever. I'm gonna hop on PC and do that. So so I could see that scenario, and that's why I'll be like, yeah, I'm down. Like, who cares? But it opens up a can of worms though. Like, console cheating is a thing on PlayStation 4 and Xbox right now, like where they're duping items. So if cross save was enabled, are they going to like bring that stuff over to PC? And PC's going to bot all day and take those Paragon over to console. So in D3 terms, it'd be horrible. It would make the mess 10 times worse than it is, you know? So
Yeah. And I don't want to spread misinformation. Obviously a lot of us associate like, okay, well, if it's on console and it's cross save, well, and it's cross platform, then if we had leaderboards or something like that, well, now we've got the hacked items. But I think, a lot of that gets confused with like offline mode. I don't, I don't think D4 in any way is going to do an offline mode. And I think that's the play. Sad for people that don't have internet, but
yeah, I was talking strictly Diablo 3, by the way. We have no idea what D4 systems are going to play like, but I think cross save is okay. I think cross platform is even okay, depending on how the game's made. The problem is if cross platform is a thing, to me, that means the game's already going to be so simplified that
that's
it's
the other
not
argument.
going to be what I want. So I just don't see how you can get D4 to be where I want it to be and have it have any kind of usable interface on a console, or can even control on a console.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, I think that's the one thing that we're all really scared about, is that they make so many sacrifices to be a game that plays well on all platforms, instead of focusing on making like a really good, true next gen iteration of Diablo. That's obviously a big scare for a lot of us. And so we immediately think, okay, cross-platform, that means it's going to be bad. But then I don't know, you think of some of the shoot, like, Fortnite, I don't know that as
Apex is cross-platform. Like, we talk about that. And I played Apex with my son. He's playing on PS4. I'm playing on PC.
Yeah.
And he played good. Like, he's plays shooters all day. He was killing it. You know what I mean? And I was like, cool. It was fun. I'm glad it existed. Different game though, man. It's like, Apex is a simple game. It's like pick up things and pew pew, So if they can pull the complexity off and make it cross-platform, dude, I'm down. I think the more people you can include in a game, the better it is for everybody. I mean, my content creation hat off and just putting on like finding players to play with, meeting friends. It doesn't matter what your friend plays on. Like, let's say that you're a hardcore PC gamer and you got a good buddy, and your buddy's like, man, I just got a new PS5. And you're like, yo, get Diablo 4, let's play. And you're like, all right, cool. And then now you guys are tearing it up together. Even if he's a new player, like, it could still be just entertainment. Like, the fun value isn't always like, look how powerful I am, look how this build I made.
Yeah.
The entertainment value sometimes can be like, I just had a blast playing with my buddy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It scares me though, for sure.
Yeah.
Everything scares me about Diablo 4. I feel like I say that all the time, because it's like I have so much. I want this game to be good so badly that it's like I'm always nervous. I'm like, it's like your firstborn kid when you're putting him in the car. You're like, oh my god, I gotta drive home from the hospital. I'm scared.
Yeah.
Is the seatbelt in right? Is the car seat in facing? You're like, you're freaking out. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah, it is. It is wild. That's been something we've talked about a lot. Is I think one of the most used terms, right? Like when people ask us, like, well, what do you think of Diablo? It's like, well, hopeful and scared, I think, are the two most common words. It's kind of wild to think about. It's not like excited and pog and let's
like,
go.
I'm scared as fuck. Like, I want it to be good, man.
Right.
This is the game that I want to play
for the next 10 years.
For the next XYZ years, lots of years. And if this game sucks, then it's like, okay, now what? Like, we're not getting another one for 10, 12 years. So now what?
Yeah.
Like PoE 2 is like, there's basically like two baskets. It's like PoE 2, which I kind of feel like what you're getting with that a little bit.
Yeah, and that's a stark contrast, right? Because it's like how do you feel about the Diablo 4? It's like, well, I'm hopeful and scared. How do you feel about PoE 2? Poggers. Like, that's all.
I know what I'm getting. You know, at least like I know the game's gonna be like this. So,
Yeah.
But
So,
I think
yeah,
it's because of what we got. Like D3. I don't know why I think D3 was going in the right direction with Reaper of Souls. And it sucks
Yeah.
that they abandoned the next expansion and they didn't let that team keep working
continue
on
to
it. But
iterate. Yeah.
because that's why it's like we've been stuck with the same game for 8-9 years or however long it's been now.
Right.
It's like, damn, dude.
And yeah, it is wild because it's like, well, Reaper of Souls kind of showed us that they can kind of move in the right direction. But then, we saw updates to the game after that even that were like, oh, okay, you guys still don't really get it. Like the challenge rifts, the set dungeons. Like, I mean, it's stuff, but it's like, look at it now. Like, it kind of feels like a waste of time.
Well, and it's because the team didn't get to implement on those things. So they
Yeah.
put Challenge Rift in the game, which is a great fundamental core achievement. But then it was like, okay, we're done. And they like kind of just brushed their hands off and we're like, we're leaving. But if they would have listened to community feedback and actually had the resources to implement those changes, they could have been like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. We can take this system we built and then make it do this and this and this. And then now it's way better than it ever was.
Yeah. Yeah. But they, obviously just kind of abandoned. But yeah, so like we just don't see, from Blizzard, like we're scared that maybe they don't have the chops in the ARPG universe anymore. Who knows? And then last I saw this, we're obviously a big fan. Oh my God, flashbang. A big fan of the Brev, right? So if you guys don't know, David Brevik, one of the original, if not the godfather of Diablo itself.
Been on the podcast,
which was, we still pinch ourselves that he actually even came on.
Like, how did he do that? Yeah.
He's been pretty active on the Twitters, replying to kind of random tweets. And this is kind of like,
this one,
so basically, first up, he gets asked, is it true there was a second expansion for Diablo 2, which was never released? And he said, yes, sort of. It was only designed, never produced. I had a multi-page design doc going over new class, new areas, new mechanic, and story concepts. That's as far as I got. And so he actually did talk about that on the podcast. He talked about how they're going to add a cleric to Diablo 2. So go watch that podcast if you didn't. But still, insane. That would have been really, really cool. I'm surprised they even pulled the plug on that, really, because D2 was crushing it so hard.
Right.
But maybe they felt they could make more from a D3 than another D2 pack or something. And then someone else asked, why didn't it come through, though? One would think that the game reception and sales had to be enough to justify at least more expansions. And he said, I designed it 6 to 12 months before I left. This is one of the reasons it was never made. It was before the 1.10 patch. We were also working on our version of Diablo 3 at the time, plus another unannounced project. And that whole story of how there are basically 2 different versions of Diablo 3 happening at one time is so wild.
I would love to play his version. I wonder how close to done it was. I would love to play it. I would also like to know what the hell was the other unannounced project that you still won't announce? Like, you still won't say this is what it was? Come on, man. Leak it.
Yeah, it's it reminds me of it, and kind of the reason I included it was there's this new director's cut for the, what's it called? The Superman / Justice League. Yeah.
I'm excited for that, actually.
Yeah,
I'm gonna watch the original before that, by the way.
Right.
And then boom.
And that kind of reminds me of this. It's like, it'd be so fascinating to basically have Diablo 3 director's cut, Brevik version.
Yeah, man, that would be super dope. Because like, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, so Justice League, the big DC movie that came out, which was kind of meh. It wasn't like the worst movie ever, but it was pretty meh.
It was pretty bad.
The director, who was the director? I lost who it was. It was a famous director. I don't know. Whoever it was, he actually had to stop directing the film because something happened. Like, I think he lost a kid. Something bad happened, and he's like, I got to step away. And it was a legitimate reason. And then
Zack
somebody
Snyder?
else, Zack Snyder, yeah. And somebody else stepped in and finished it. And then I think he saw it and he was like, what the fuck? Like, he was like, this is not the movie that I was making. What did you do? And so he's like, got permission. He went and like lobbied and actually got permission to redo the movie with the footage that he had filmed. And some of the actors came back and like refilmed scenes. And like, he's going to try to make a new movie, and they're calling it the Zack Snyder cut or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited for it because I want to see exactly how much difference the director can make, especially like if he had to read, if he already had his footage, like how much better can he make it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
finished by, but JJ Abrams, like, so chat just filled me in, said that Zack Snyder, it was finished by JJ Abrams and some other people. And JJ Abrams is like huge. Like he's a big time.
Yeah.
Like he did the Star Trek movies, and I can just rattle off a couple of them, but he's a good director. So it'll be interesting to see what Snyder does with it. So
Yeah.
anyways,
and then
but it would be cool to
Yeah.
see Brevik get the team and be like, okay, boys, okay,
This is what we
boys, we
would've
got
done.
we got our old code back. We got the crew together.
Yeah.
Let's bust it out and give him a couple, like a year or two, just to like make his D3. Like, okay, what is it gonna play like, man?
Yeah.
You know,
It's hard to imagine a world where it's any worse than D3 vanilla, but you know.
I don't know, man. Was it that bad? Like, I played the shit out of D3 vanilla.
But we didn't have anything else. That's the thing that we say all the time. Is people are like, well, but the D3 vanilla sold a ton of copies. Well, one, it was playing on the Diablo name, but two, like, we didn't have other ARPGs at all. Like, there was no Path of Exile. There was
played the
nothing.
crap out of D3 vanilla. It wasn't, but I did like you though. I burned out, and you burn out. You hit a point where I think it was Inferno back in vanilla, right? And I think it was an Inferno 10 was
Monster
the hardest.
Power.
Was
10.
it Monster Power 10? Whatever it was a 10, right? Or 6 maybe even. I don't know. But I was creeping up and getting my character to that. And I think I did like my first whatever, level or act or whatever at the difficulty, like act 3 somewhere. And I'm like, okay, I think I'm done. And the auction house system just burned me out. Like I was like, I'm done with this. But dude, I played a shit ton of vanilla though. Like it was.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to go back and be like, this is the worst game I've ever played. Like, no, man, I've bought games where examples are like Age of Conan, like when it came out, like it was a WoW killer, right? MMO. I played that shit for an hour and I was done. I never ever logged into it again. Like I was like, this game is so bad.
The difference there is that you had World of Warcraft in your back pocket. There's nothing in your back pocket for Diablo 3.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I agree. But I still had fun on it though.
Yeah. But you would have had fun on Conan if there was no other game like it, probably.
Maybe. You didn't have like you really think that your D3 vanilla experience was that bad? Like rate it on a scale of 1 to 10.
I mean, looking at it, it's pretty wild. Like I probably would have preferred like Wolcen launch over Diablo 3 launch. But
I don't know.
We just didn't have anything else to play. That's the big difference. So it's really hard to make that comparison.
It's so hard because nostalgia does weird things to you, man.
Yeah.
It does. It really does. I do remember not being able to play the first day.
Yeah.
But I mean, I remember Wolcen being the same though. Like remember Wolcen was like the first weekend.
Yeah.
I think I bought it. I pre-ordered it, right? And then it dropped.
And then you had to remake because the online servers went down.
I don't think I could even play.
Yeah.
I don't think I even got to play the first day at all. So
yeah.
And
But and then someone asked, Diablo 4 also seems to be kind of an ARPG/MMO hybrid. Is it any close to what you had planned? And he just posted a GIF of
oh man,
I from the office.
That's
just
funny,
backing
dude.
Out, so.
I mean, I think that's the play, though. I agree with that. I disagree with Brevik. I think that the MMO hybrid is the future for a couple reasons. Because I like MMOs, so it makes me happy. But aside from that, I understand a lot of you guys don't. I think the MMO mix, the small sprinkling of MMO they're going to put in the game, makes Blizzard see the product as more of a live service, not as a box product that we're shipping it and there you go. And I think the live service model is what we want out of Diablo 3 because we're constantly wanting updates and we're constantly wanting balance patches and content. And I think the MMO style fits that much better. So.
I concur. I agree that it is. I think it is the way. I think that Lost Ark gave us a taste of what that formula could look like, and I think it would be very, very, very good. And that's Blizzard's thing is they take a good idea and they throw a bunch of money at it, and sometimes it hits. So yeah, I mean, I think that Diablo 4 could potentially be amazing if they get combat right, if they get the end game grind right. But those are obviously major concerns. So,
Yep.
I don't think that you should have, like, say Diablo 4 is like instance peer-to-peer, Diablo 3 leave game, remake game memes. I just, like, none of that works in the current year. And that's why I'm like, when I think of Diablo 2 and if it's a 1-for-1 remaster, I'm immediately like, ugh. Like, I just don't.
Yeah. Me too. Like, I'll play through the campaign and I'm sure that'll be a fun experience, especially if they get the graphics juiced up. But remaking game, like this is you nostalgically go back to those places and you're like, oh man, that game was so good. It's because of the mindset you were in, like
Yeah.
what you were doing. Were you a teenager? Were you in high school, college? Did you have no responsibilities? Did you sit around in your underwear all day and didn't matter because you didn't have to do anything? Like, there's so much more that factors into your mindset on those games. And I think as an adult, or because if you play Diablo 2, you're an adult now. So as an adult, you're like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like you're gonna remake game, and you're gonna be sitting here thinking like, okay, I literally need to go cook dinner, but let me remake this game one more time. Like, I guess that just doesn't. I don't know, man.
Yeah, you gotta wonder, like, at some level, if you're Blizzard. I'm curious your opinion on this because you're a big WoW and Diablo player.
Yeah.
At some level, do you wonder if Blizzard considers the possibility that they're possibly kind of moving in on their own market with the Diablo 4? No,
I don't think so, man. They're WoW is a completely different game. It's similar in a very few ways, but for the most part, it's a whole different breed of animal. And the ARPG gearing aspect, marketing aspect, build aspect is just different. You know what I mean? Like, WoW doesn't really have builds. You have a class, and you play the class the same way if you're playing that class. Like, if you're gonna go play a Vengeance Demon Hunter, there's one way to play that Vengeance Demon Hunter. It's not like you're saying, I'm gonna play a Necro, and you're like, oh well, which build? How are you gonna play it?
right?
It just doesn't work that way. So it's a different style of game, and it's not Diablo 4 is not gonna be MMO-ish enough to even come close. So
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I don't know. We'll see.
What if they do some of these stupid crossover events, man? Have you seen these stupid crossover events where they have like Resident Evil is in Division is one, for example. I played a little Division recently just to see what they've done with the game in the last 6 months. And it's like Resident Evil crossover, like get cosmetic items that look like Resident Evil characters and stuff if you do this. And then there's like Capcom and Monster Hunter did one. And like, what if Blizzard was like, we're doing a Call of Duty crossover with whatever, man. Like, what was the game they put on the launcher recently? Crash Bandicoot. So like,
You
I just
fight
don't
Crash
see how
Bandicoot in Diablo 4 when we can.
Oh my, yeah, they just did something.
Crash Bandicoot Goblin.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Like, I mean, I'm like, oh my god, no! Like, what are you doing that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't think that we're in the majority for something like that marketing wise. So obviously, we view it as like, ugh. Like, imagine for a second that Fortnite teamed up with Diablo, and you could play as like Diablo, and
because
we'd be
Fortnite's
like,
done that with everybody.
Yeah, with everything. But that'd be good exposure for the game.
Yeah,
like,
it would be smart. Like, honestly, no kidding aside, let's say Diablo drops a BR in PvP, right? And they're like, they do a co-branding thing with Fortnite, and they're like, listen, Diablo's BR is free to play, whatever the case may be for the weekend. If you play it and play 5 games and you get this Fortnite skin, you get a Diablo Fortnite skin, because that would make sense in Fortnite. You could actually do that. And then people got to play Diablo and experience the BR mode. Like, it makes sense, man. But I would kind of be like, oh god, no.
Yeah, it'd be hard not to roll your eyes at it, right? It's kind of like Immortal, really, at the end of the day, because like we sit here and we roll our eyes at Immortal because,
right?
I just, at the end of the day, as many changes as they could possibly make to the game, it's still, it's still kind of going to be a mobile game. But I think it's good for Diablo. It's just not the game that, us hardcore Diablo players want it to be. It's going to reach a lot of people, and maybe people that would never have heard of Diablo 4 will hear about it because, mobile's a big fucking thing. So, Yeah.
Interesting, man. I just gave them a Fortnite idea. If it happens, I'm so sorry, guys. That was totally my
We
fault.
talked about it weeks ago. It was like, I think Halo popped up on Fortnite or something. I don't remember. Something I like popped
They got
up on
Mandalorian
Fortnite.
on there. Mandalorian,
Yeah.
they did Mando on there, and I was like, oh, dude. It was actually, I'm not gonna lie. Like, my kids play Fortnite, and I saw my son unlock the Mandalorian skin, the tier 100 one. It looks good. Like, if you view the model in game, I'm like, dude, that shit looks good. Like, that looks awesome. I would totally rock that if I played Fortnite. But it's just, it's, ugh,
Yeah. I get
I see him doing it.
And then Wolcen, I don't have the patch notes, but Wolcen just came out. You know, last week we talked about how Wolcen they made a post about like, okay, you know, we're going to do more patches basically. So they just came out with their first round of patch notes, post their recent announcement to like do more. And it's still, a little tiny to me, considering the sheer amount of bugs in Wolcen.
I wonder how big their team is.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Because these patch notes could be crazy if it's like 1 or 2 dudes. These patch notes could be tiny if it's like 15 dudes. You know?
Yeah.
Or ladies.
Yeah, I can't even find the patch notes. But yeah, they just hit their first round today. Hopefully, if they're just like breaking the seal and they're going to really go ham on that game for a bit. But
right.
Again, I think Wolcen's got potential. It's just they're going to have a hard time getting over their own memes, you know, of how bad it was at launch and stuff like that. But if they just continue in the right direction, I'm sure they can be okay.
Yep.
And then that's kind of it. 2 hours, 15 minutes later. That's it. We barely had anything to talk about.
It's been 2:15. Crap. Well, I guess that's it. No Twitter questions tonight, guys. Sorry for your questions. No, we got Twitter questions to do, man. Let's do them.
Wait, PChild loves Fluff hates every week. People freak out if we don't do it.
Do you have?
Yes, I do. I have one. So Fluff hates for this week, which is kind of a positive hate. Don't expect this all the time. Okay. So there's just kind of a meme.
Flip roles? You're positive lately. I'm negative. We're just gonna flip.
There's kind of a meme that's been popping up lately on the Diablo Reddit where someone says, "Please don't Jay Wolcen Diablo 4." And it's funny, but at the same time, it's like, man, it's pretty toxic.
Not funny, but it's funny.
Right. Leaves this poor guy. Like, so people blame Jay Wolcen for like everything that was wrong with Diablo 3. And obviously he was a part of that team. And, you know, things went forward that probably should never have gone forward and stuff like that. And you could blame it on Jay Wolcen at the end of the day. But we also don't know, you know, the pressures that go into.
The picture is hilarious.
Yeah. And then, you know, and it reminds me a lot of, you know, kind of the Wyatt Chang memes, right? Like, Wyatt Chang will probably forever be that guy, that mobile guy. And, you know, that's kind of disappointing too, because like he's done a lot for Diablo. I mean, maybe at the end of the day. No, it's not my fault. But yeah, it's, I think it's kind of mean to just like point at one guy. And it's like, you know, Diablo 3 came out when? Like how long ago is this? And we still carried around this one photo of Jay Wolcen. And mention him anytime something goes wrong, or like anytime something's like the word double is used, like that's kind of Jay Wolcen's thing. But poor guy, leave him alone.
We just got Jay Wolcen for the rest of season 22.
You're carrying on the meme.
Okay, my bad. I'm sorry.
Oh my god. Okay, what's PChild loves? He talks.
We did.
Son of a bitch.
What do I love? What have I watched this week? You know what, man? I'm gonna go to your thing. I am hooked on the challenge this season. Have you been watching the challenge?
Of course.
Yeah, dude. It's a good. What do you think about this season? I think it's pretty good.
You know, honestly, I hate the people that come on the show and they're not there to compete.
Yeah, because nobody wants to go in.
That shit drives me nuts. So like the girls on this particular season, I feel like are maybe some of the worst we've ever had. Like they're just not there to like compete.
I think it's entertaining. I
Big
like
T
watching
drives
her
me
fight.
crazy, man. Like I can't stand her.
Really,
I cannot
she's
stand
hilarious,
her.
dude. I love Big T. See, that's so funny because we're so different on
Yeah.
that. She's funny. It's like she's not gonna win, but she's just
No,
entertaining.
but that's like, why are you like? It's I don't know. Like, why would you not prepare
she gets
yourself?
paid. She gets paid to be there. You know that, right?
Yeah,
Like,
still stupid.
yeah. Anyways, so no, I've been watching. So I guess lately my loves have just been the few times I get to watch TV. And I talked about Outsider last time, right? Was that last week when I started that?
Yeah.
My wife and I binged that whole series. We just finished it up over the weekend. It was good, man. I didn't know it was based on a Stephen King book, so maybe that's why it was good. But that was a good show.
Did you watch the show I told you to watch?
No, I haven't.
your
It's
problem?
Ted Lasso though. I
Yeah.
got it memorized, and that's next on the docket.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try to look that one up. It's an Apple TV show though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
so
get
I
Apple
gotta-
free for a year.
Oh,
Do you have an iPhone?
yeah.
Yeah, you just get it free for a year.
What do you mean?
You just get like if you go to the site, it'll tell you. Like you just put in your Apple ID.
Didn't know
It's like you get
Oh,
it.
there you go. PChild loves free Apple TV for a year. There you go.
Yeah. Me and Lindsay just recently finished the Cobra Kai, and
Mhm.
I mean, it's if you're like an
My
80s
wife said it
kid,
was okay.
80s 90s kid, it's okay. It's
Yeah.
predictable and silly.
I watched like the first 2 episodes of the first season, and I was like, it's
Yeah.
all right. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's
I
not
wouldn't be like, oh, you should watch this. I wouldn't
I
recommend.
wasn't
it,
jonesing
probably,
for it. Like
but-
The Outsider was good enough that it's an HBO show. I think it's The Outsider. It's HBO series, and it was good enough that I was like, I want to watch this. Yo, hey, P-Wife, let's go. Come here. Let's watch this show. Let's finish it up. And she was like, sure, I'm down. So that's kind of been it, man. There's another one coming on called Temptation Island. Have you ever heard of this show? This is totally my wife that got me hooked on this, but it's like a bunch of singles go to an island, and this is hilarious, dude. So they go to this island and they separate them. And one half of the island, they take all the guys from the relationship and they put them with a bunch of smoking hot models. That
Hasn't this been a show?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a thing. This is like
Okay.
season 2, I think, maybe of it or something. I don't know. But like the guys and the girls are together, and then they take the girls and they put them with hot guys, and they're all together on the island, but they're separate. And then like every week, they like the film production crew sends samples of what their significant other has been doing to the other person, and they set it up right. But I'm telling you, Fluff, this show is hilarious because they'll have like this one guy's girl ended up hooking up with a dude on like the second day or something, and they're like supposed to be in love. And this dude's reaction when he saw it, he's like, oh, like he starts crying and stuff.
Why is that funny?
Oh
That's
my
so
God, dude.
awful.
No, it's funny. Like the way it's
That's
edited,
somebody's
man.
life.
No, it's funny. I'm telling you, you got to
That's
watch
fucked
this show.
up.
It's like, listen, man, it's
Look,
you're saving his
cheating
life.
is
You're
already
saving on.
insanely cringe. Like,
Yeah, I know.
how would you go on that show and not be 100% foolproof? Because you're going to this island. Okay, maybe it's a bunch of hot babes, but like they're there. They're strictly there to just like try to tempt you. They don't care about you at all. Like that's the whole point. So like, why would you
It's funny, man.
fall for that shit? I don't know. It's so stupid.
It's funny. So anyways, that's coming on tonight. Actually, I think was the first episode was tonight. So
that's what you're going to do after the pod.
Probably my wife will probably be like, let's watch it. She's probably waiting for me to watch it.
Nice.
So she's actually probably asleep now. She's like, oh my God, you're going so long. So let's get into some Twitter questions though. The first question, actually, if you want to submit questions to the podcast, you can join our Discords. We have links in the YouTube description. If you're live, you can type !Discord or !PChild, I think, for my info. And either one, or follow us on Twitter at @ThaPChild, at @Lord__Fluffy. First question comes from No Phones, and he says, if Immortal drops Friday, are you streaming it? Are you playing it?
You go.
On Friday?
Well, let's just say right after BlizzCon, because it's on Friday.
Yeah.
We're watching BlizzCon.
Yeah. So let's say it drops Monday after BlizzCon. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say it 100 times. Like, I have full intention to play that game. I'll probably play it pretty hard. I haven't tried the Necro. There is a leaderboard. We know there's a leaderboard. I'm a really hyper competitive person, so I will be maintaining rank 1 Necro, and it's just a matter of what's our window before how long till the game comes out and it's fun and it's great? And then is it one day that we make it before the pay to win starts to show itself? Or is it 2 days? Is it a week? And that's my length of play.
Mm-hmm. And then you're pretty much forever done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll play it and probably get to max level and experience the end games. And if the game's fun, I'll play it. If I'm not, my scale for every game is if I want to play it. I don't force myself to play a game. Video games are supposed to be fun. I'm supposed to enjoy my time. If I'm enjoying my time, I'm going to play it. If I'm not enjoying my time, I'm going to play something that makes me happy. So that'll be my scale. Will I play it though? For sure. I hate streaming off my iPhone though, because even airplane mode, text and stuff still come through.
Yep.
So it's silly. I don't know. I don't know how to get around that without like completely screwing my phone up for actual practical use.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Every night having to go in and turn things on and off is just silly. So I don't know, man. It sucks. Demonic Grizz says, where are your predictions for Diablo? Will we get any juice at BlizzCon? I think we probably answered that in this
100 times
podcast.
over,
That's
yeah.
all we talked about. But yeah, I'm predicting we'll simplify this to say D3 juice at BlizzCon, because I think that's one of the hot points that we disagree on.
Yeah.
Fluff thinks we're going to get Diablo 3 juice at BlizzCon. I say nope. I don't think we're going to get it at BlizzCon. So
yeah, I convinced PChild the D2 is actually coming.
You did, man. You changed my opinion. You made me a believer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be super disappointed if we don't get it now. So
And then PChild's guessing Amazon. I'm guessing Hunter.
listen, that is not what we said.
Move
You
on.
can't
Next question.
You can't steal my ideas, dude. Just like you stole the Hunter picture. Onion says, should D4 have PTRs? Do you think PTR lessens the hype of a new season?
This is like, yeah. I mean, it does. There's no question that it does.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough. That's a tough one because like we appreciate the PTR so much, and you know maybe if the team was bigger or there was more people at Blizzard that played a lot of Diablo 3, then they wouldn't need to do it. But I don't know that you couldn't do it right now in Diablo unless you kind of throw the leaderboard out of the window, right? Like if they just go through with their phase 1 of sets, then it's really kind of, it feels like a lot of time, it feels like it's a total guessing game. Like version 1 of the new monk set, it felt like, did they just throw some, like, did they play this? Did they actually play this? You know what I mean? Like, and it took 2 iterations and it became a great set, and, you know, based on feedback and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's still some things that they could fix on it, but I agree with you. Like, I think the PTR serves a very, very valuable role. And most good games that I know have a PTR.
Yeah.
I think the exception to the rule is like PoE. I don't think PoE does PTRs, and they pull it off
actually
pretty well.
It's
are they closed?
Open, yeah.
So closed PTRs. And I think I would read this question as open PTRs because if they're closed, then the public wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I guess the play for D4, if I'm being honest, if you want to generate hype for every season, I would probably just have like a closed server that you invite, like, you know, your hardcore boys to.
Yeah, your theory crafters and testers and stuff too. I would think though, the bigger the team you have, hopefully the more big brains you have looking at problems. And you'll have people that's like, I would hope the D4 class has a druid god on the team and has a sorcerer god on the team or whatever. And then when those changes start to go through and they're talking about it, your class leaders can step up and be like, oh man, you can't do that with druid, because if we do that, then this is what's going to happen. And then you're like, okay. Or like, I think a great change would be this, we'd be playing this build. And, you know, so I hope they have those key people that can, because the team on D3 right now isn't even big enough to, in my opinion, to support all the character classes and all the sets. One person, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people can't play all the classes enough to know all the intricacies. And it's not anybody's fault except for the people who are in charge of funding Diablo 3's development at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad at those guys. Like, they bust their ass, but it's like, you need lots of people, lots of viewpoints, lots of eyeballs. So
Yeah, and I'll share a story actually that I haven't shared before. You know, one of the seasons for Diablo 3, you know, a couple of the guys that work on D3, they asked me like, what would you think about like a 1 second cooldown, internal cooldown on like Devour, and to solve, because they're trying to solve the problem of rat runs and how they're so powerful and stuff like that. And you know, immediately, because I play so much Necro, like I played ungodly amounts of Necro, immediately I was like, you're going to destroy Pestilence if you put a 1 second cooldown on Devour, internal cooldown.
Yep.
And you know, that's just something that it would have been caught, obviously,
on PTR.
On a PTR.
Yeah.
But it's just like not something that immediately comes to mind, right? And so that's why it's great. So if you had like, you know, just like a round table of dudes that you know play, like say Druid D4, you've got like a table of like, you know, a dozen guys that you can be like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. And those dozen guys would be like, well, wait a second, or well, that's a great idea. We've been really hoping for something like that.
Right.
It's so invaluable.
And they're not all going to agree with you.
Yeah.
Like your play style of Necro might be completely different than mine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're like, I want it to play like this. And I'm like, I want it to play like this. So that's fine. There has to be an executive in charge to make those decisions. But whatever decision they go with, they need to make sure that they're thinking about all the possible outcomes and scenarios that'll happen with that decision.
Totally.
You know what I mean? And so that's cool. And I hope that they do that for D4. So
Yeah.
I do think like, PTRs kill hype though.
I agree. And it's just like exactly what you said. It's a mirror what you said. I mean, it's not necessary that I'm like, oh, you shouldn't do that change. You know what I mean? Like, don't do it. Like, I would have accepted whatever Blizzard did at the end of the day. But just even having that conversation, I'm just raising red flags. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I'm doing. And I think that is invaluable. And it's like we had a conversation today, maybe, when that same kind of situation happened. And that I hope that, you know, they at least maybe pulled something from. Basically, so. Right?
Yeah, it's like you know that this happens. If you do X, it's going to make Y be a thing. Like, are you aware of that? And sometimes they're not, and sometimes they are. You know what I mean? Yeah. But at least they're aware, so it's pretty cool. But PTR is for D3. It's crazy and valuable. Like you have to have it. I feel like D4. All right, I'm going to rephrase it. Well, he kind of says it. Should it have PTRs? Do you want D4 to have PTR?
Not a public test room. No, I don't think that. Yeah, I don't. I mean, it is nice because you get a total slam. Because even if you had a round table of like 12 people that are really hard at a game, stuff's still going to slip through the cracks. Yeah. And you know, the good thing about a PTR is, you know, sometimes that stuff will get caught by players that like you wouldn't expect to caught like a particular issue. But at the same time, you also can get a massive number of people testing your game, and this has happened in Diablo seasons past, where you get a massive group of people testing your game, and they find something that's broken, and they don't even like.
They don't tell you because they want to abuse it,
and they want to abuse it. Like that happened with the Heal Monk when it very first came out. Like people knew that was going to be insane, and they didn't report it, and it went forward, and then that season was like kind of bricked. So
I've had. And they might have found it anyways, right? If it weren't for PTR. So, you know, it is what it is. But I've burned myself out on PTR.
Yeah.
100%. I've played so much PTR that when the season actually dropped, I didn't even care. Because I'm like, I played every set, every build. I tested the things that I wanted to test. And it's like, okay, I knew I was going to play this in the season. So then when the season came, I made that and I had no desire to test the other things because I already did it. You know what I mean? So it totally kills hype, but that's a problem for me because I think as a Diablo 3 content creator, I needed to have the information. I wanted to have the information. When people ask me like, how has XYZ changed? I wanted to be able to answer the question, you know?
Yeah.
So.
It is wild to see like a PoE league first drops and the general public has no idea, you know, like what's going to be meta or what's going to be not banned anymore or what's like a hidden sleeper build or something like that. And like, so this league, for example, everyone started Crackling Lance. Crackling Lance is like a new skill that they added. It looks really cool. People are really pogging out for it. And then you saw in like day one of the league, there was like 11 to 20% of players were playing Crackling Lance. And then very shortly, you know, the good players realized, oh, it doesn't really scale that well. It doesn't scale as well as a lot of other skills. And then you saw that number go from like 11 to 12% of players, or 11 to 20% of players, down to like 0.05 by week 2,
Yeah.
which is
But
crazy.
it also goes to show how the influence of streamers and content creators and people in the top echelons of the game have, because a lot of people will follow that. Like if Ziz puts a video out saying this is the best build in PoE, dude, crazy amounts of people are going to start running that build.
Yeah.
Regardless, they're just going to, oh, Ziz says it, I trust it, which is fine. You should. Like, he's a good PoE player.
Yeah.
You know, if all, you know, there's so many people that are the same way.
Totally.
They have that.
They call, there's a thing in PoE called the Mathel effect. If he makes a build, whatever items he's using on the economy, those prices go up.
Yep.
Because a bunch of people watch the videos and they want to play it.
Yeah, it's crazy. So Crystal says, what is the saddest thing that's ever happened to you in a video game? This could be taken a couple different ways. The saddest moment in gaming history for me is probably Final Fantasy X that I can remember. I was pretty sad when I beat Final Fantasy X. Have you played 10?
Probably not.
Specifically, spoilers if you haven't played 10 from 15 years ago. I don't know what you're doing, but spoiler for the ending. In the end, Titus goes to give Yuna a hug, and he realizes that he is a dream this whole time. He's not even real, and he goes through her, and it was like super fucking sad. It was like tearjerker. That's probably the saddest I've been in a game. I was like, damn, dude. Like, I was bombing.
Over Ares? Like that was sadder to you?
Yeah, I mean, that was sad, but there was a whole bunch more game left. Like, you're like, oh, I can't. Like, Aerith's death was more like, this happened? Like, oh my god. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't believe that happened.
I don't know. Some of the saddest moments. I mean, it always feels bad dying in hardcore. Like some of my hardcore PoE runs felt bad. Like you level guy and he's like in yellow red maps and then it's just gone. And then like you don't really have another play. That feels bad. Disconnecting when you're in a lab. That feels really sad. It's like a mini hardcore. Or accidentally, I've done this a lot in my Path of Exile. It's like accidentally crafting something wrong. Like something that could have a ton of potential to be really good, but you make a mistake. It's not like you hit something and it doesn't hit for you, but you make a mistake and like fuck over the item and like
poof.
Yeah. You just ruined it. So,
yeah, I haven't gone down that road yet. I have dropped a bunch of experience though and kind of ruined my evening. Like I've died several times and ended up like pretty much killing half an experience bar in one evening, and I'm like, man, this is some dumb like it sucked. You know what I mean? And it was just like a couple were my mistakes, a couple were one shots that I felt were cheap, but regardless, the end result is that I was at the last one. I'm like, dude, I have lost so much experience today. Are you kidding me? Like, so.
Yeah, I recently had a story, which is kind of crazy, right? Like, so I played an ungodly amount of PoE, and I still feel like a noob sometimes. Like, I spent all these weeks crafting this really insane minion claw. Like, there's a harvest craft that says you can synthesize an item. When you synthesize an item, or fracture an item. When you fracture an item, it basically locks in one of the stats that's on it. And so, like, I had locked in a minion craft on the claw. I'm like, sweet. It just absorbed that minion craft. So now I'm going to re-roll this thing. And I finally like re-rolled it. I hit a remove chaos. And so like, it was this insane minion claw. And it's like, all right. And then I went back to the crafting station to craft that one final thing that would have made it like just literally like not mirror tier at all, but like just really fucking good. But because the fracture was a crafted mod, I would never be able to craft on it again because the fracture locks in the stat. And so like I'd spent weeks building up this item,
and then you realized,
and then on the last second, the very last step, realized that what I was doing was incredibly stupid.
And you're like, fuck.
But I would I needed to fail there to even because I couldn't.
Now
have
you'll
found that
never
answer.
do it.
Yeah.
Though. Now you know. Yeah.
It sucks.
I get it, man. So it's bad. As far as as far as in-game things, I don't know as far as some in-game lessons. I pretty vividly remember losing some arena games in WoW back in Wrath of the Lich King, where we were trying to get over the hump and get like 2200 to get weapons, which was at the time a pretty decent achievement. And I remember like being one win away so many times. And I remember one of the losses being like, dude, I was on this side of the boxes. If I would have been on that side of the boxes, I would have been in a better point and like things like that. So those were some frustrating ones. But what else? Let's see. Hex says, what did you use to spend your time on doing on the toilet before smartphones? I don't use my smartphone now, man. Like, how long you guys in there hiding from your boss or something? Like, you guys do that at work or what?
I mean, toilet time is prime time phone time.
Is it? I know. I'm just taking care of business. I'm in and out. Boom, boom. Let's go.
Well, some of us aren't blessed with, I guess, loosey goosey or something. I don't know. I don't. Yeah, you know. Yeah, I use primetime phone. I can't really remember a time, like ever since I've been like how long ago we have phones? We were like 17 years old when we like phones were a thing.
Not like smartphones, bro.
No,
like,
not smartphones, but like phones that could like.
Will you call people
text,
while you're taking
actual text? Was that maybe early college? I don't even know.
So I sent my first text message in like maybe 2006. I think I was an early adopter to the text messages. So I want to say it's around 5 or 6.
I mean, it was early college.
I actually got my. It's funny because it was right before I met my wife, but I got a new Razor phone. You remember the Razor phones that were like crazy expensive? Like back in the day, it was $500, which was at that time
right
ridiculous. Yeah. And so I got this Razor, and there was this girl in front of the line, and I was like, hey, I was like, you ever text anybody? She's like, no. I was like, me neither. What's your number? I'll text you real quick. Like I thought I was being super smooth.
Nice.
Yeah. It worked.
Nice. And then that's your wife.
No, a different story. Yeah, different story. That was my first text message though. Wow. I remember it.
Nice.
So, yeah, but no, I didn't text on the.
No, I don't remember. Like I have a hard time remembering those times, those dark ages where we had no technology to entertain us while we're on the toilet.
Yeah, that's where we used to go outside and shoot bows and arrows and cut things and do stuff. So, let's see. Invisible Knowledge says, "What is the biggest lie you've ever been caught in?" I mean, I don't. Could you tell it if it's really the biggest one? I mean, the biggest one that I'll share.
What?
I don't know. I'm sure if it's a horrible lie and you got caught telling it, you're not going to want to fess up to it still, right? I don't even remember getting caught in like some really bad ones. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like my childhood or something. Just something that was incredibly stupid.
Huh.
Oh, I got one.
Okay.
It's first grade.
Okay.
My teacher, the teacher had this Alcatraz style bathroom break system where there was a stop sign on the wall, and you'd flip it to go, you flip it to stop, right? And if it's on stop, that meant someone in the class was in the restroom, and you were not allowed to go.
Oh,
but as soon as they came back, you could flip it to go, right? And then it's okay for someone else. And so I'm waiting. I had to go really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And finally they come back and they flip it to go. I pulled out the room. I run to the bathroom and try to get my jeans down, and I just don't make it. I don't make it.
Oh, wow.
Pee my pants.
All right.
And so I'm like, shit, what am I going to do? But then I got it. I got an idea. I go back to class, super confident, feel like 100%. And the teacher's like, oh my God, like, what happened?
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, I fell in the toilet.
Yeah, right. You're never going to believe this. I fell in the toilet.
And I was so confident with my response.
Yeah.
Logistically, it makes no sense. It's on my front.
I got one too.
Yeah. So
I'm with you. So mine was like third or fourth grade. I remember the teacher. I think it was third grade. But me and a buddy, like there was me and one of my buddies, and then there was this other kid that everybody pretty much hated because he was like mean and just annoying and just a bad kid. Just that typical bad kid. He wasn't really a bully to us because it's not like we were pushover kids, but he was just nobody liked him, right? And so we're playing on the is it the monkey bars, the ones that you would kind of like rope yourself across with your feet or hanging from your hands. So we're going across the monkey bars, and this kid like wouldn't leave us alone, and he kept like pestering us. And it was me and my buddy Matt. And so we're going across, and as this kid's going across, we each grabbed a foot and like pulled him off the monkey bars, and so he fell. Right, he didn't get really hurt, but he went and told on us. And so the teacher's like, "Oh, did you guys pull him off the monkey bars?" And of course, we're like, "No, no, we didn't do it." But she saw us do it, right? And she's like, "I need you guys to go get in the front of the line right now, like the recess to go in line." And it's still like 5 minutes before recess is over. So we walk over to the little, they had like painted area in the parking lot of where we had to go stand to get in line. And so we go over there and we're standing there. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm looking at my buddy Matt, and I'm like, we're in so much trouble, dude. Like, we're gonna have to go to the principal. Like, as a third grader, you're freaked out, right? And I'm like, oh, we're gonna have to go to the principal and then call our parents. And so the teacher goes, she goes, there's a couple teachers inside doing recess too. She goes inside, and then a couple minutes later, she comes back out. And I thought she was going to get the principal or get somebody, right? Because we're in trouble. She comes back up, and she comes to the front of the line, and she hands each of us a Snickers bar. And she says, "Here you go." And she kind of winked at us. Like, 'cause she fucking hated this kid too. I swear to God, man.
What kind of message?
She gave us a Snicker bar for pulling this kid off the monkey bars. Wow. Man, I'll never forget that. And I was like, and she kind of winked at, like, she gave us this thing like, "Good job." But she never said good job. Like, she didn't ever say 100% what it was for. But like, she sent us to the line. She gave us a Snickers, and that was it, man. Like, that we never talked about it again. Damn. So, because she didn't like this kid either, man. Nobody liked this kid. So I was just like, okay, cool. Wow. But that was it. So we were busted and got caught in a lie and got rewarded. So Guy 5000 says, "What is the worst way you've been scammed?"
Oh my God. Okay. So this was like, God.
This is last month. Okay.
When was this game even a thing? October 2003. This game called Lineage 2.
Okay.
Was a game. It's like an MMO.
Yeah.
And I was playing it with my friends. And I had farmed up to level 20.
Okay. Is that a lot? I don't know.
I mean, I remember, it's a grindy game. It took some time. Okay. And I had found an item for another class that was worth a lot for that class. It was not for me. And I sold it, got enough money to get these baller two-hand swords, or these dual-wielding swords. And, was going to be really, really strong. I was really excited. And so I bought these two-hand swords, and you could like plus them, and they would glow, right? And so I got them to plus, and they were glowing, and I felt like a badass. And so I'm sitting in town, like chatting up a storm, because this is the early MMO days. You'd like hang out in social hubs.
ASL.
And this guy comes up to me, he's like, "Yo, like your swords are sick." I'm like, "Thanks, I just got them." Yeah, they glow blue. Check it out.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Did you get the rare one?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, did you get like the rare swords? I know you got those swords on, but did you get the rare version?" I'm like, "What are you talking about, the rare version?" He's like, "Follow me." So we go outside of town. And he's like, "So if you've got the rare versions of the swords, when you throw them on the ground, they'll stick straight up, sword down, and the hilt will be up in the air." I'm like, "Get out of here. Really?" So I throw the sword, and It sticks, hilt up, sword in the
Yeah.
ground. I'm like, sweet. And I pick it back up. I'm like, dude, that's badass. He's like, were they the right sword? I was like, I just did it. It was hilt up. He's like, how? I didn't see it. I was like, oh, okay. So I throw it down again. He picks it up and logs off.
Oh my god. Were you like, what the did you try to like contact support? You
Yeah,
went to full
I was like,
freak out,
wait,
didn't you?
what? He stole my item.
Oh
Yeah.
my god. I got scammed in WoW once. This is embarrassing because of all people I know. Like I know. And I got it, man. This was like back in I guess it was Cataclysm. I'm trying to think of what expansion. I think it was Cataclysm. And so in Cataclysm, I didn't have a raid team. My raid team had broke up. And there was a best in slot PvE trinket for rogues in PvP. And this item was bind on pickup. You could literally trade it to somebody. And so anyways, it was a big thing, I guess, to sell them back in the day for like real money or whatever. And I'm like, I'm not buying this thing for real money. Like, fuck that. But I'll pay gold for it. I'll get trade in game gold. And so this guy was like, he said he was gonna sell it to me, and I start talking to him, and I'm feeling him out. And for whatever reason, I don't know exactly how it went down, but this guy's like, listen, I don't have a character on your server, but I'll sell it to you. I need like 5,000 upfront on this and whatever. And basically this dude conned me into giving him a little bit of gold. Like I didn't get a lot of gold out of him. He didn't get like crazy amounts out of me, but I definitely lost. I think it was 5K gold that I lost. And at the time that's a little bit of money, but maybe it wasn't even that much. Maybe it was like 2,000 or something. But whatever it was, I was like, I'm probably getting screwed here. But I had the guy on Skype. Like this is back when you used Skype, and I got him on Skype. He's like, hey, what's up, dude? He's like, yeah, man, I got it. It's on this thing. I gotta do this and this and this. He's like, here's my alt character, so you can trade the gold, and I'll switch over. And I have one of my guys. He's like, we have a whole farm team that farms these things up, so I'll have them send it to you in like an hour or whatever it is. And I'm like, dude, I'm getting fucked. I know it. I did it, man. I gave him the money, and I was like, I could afford it. I think at the time I had a couple 100,000, so it wasn't a big deal. But it's just one of those things where after I did it, I'm like, I wanted the item so bad that I made a bad decision to try to get it because I didn't have a raid team. I was like, man, this is too good to be true, but whatever.
Yeah.
So that's it. That was my big WoW scam. As far as other games, have you been scammed in real life? I'm trying to think of ways that I got scammed.
Yeah, I mean, I
had somebody sell me a computer off eBay that didn't work.
Wow.
Didn't turn on. So
I had a period of like my first job outside of college where I kind of got scammed at the end of the day, where I got paid and I didn't get paid, but then we got paid again and then I didn't get paid, but then we would get paid again and we get a bonus and then we didn't get paid, like, and they went on for a while, and then like 6 months went by, no pay, and then the guy pieced. So I got super scammed.
That's a lot of money.
It's a fuck ton of money, actually. So
that's a lot of money, dude.
it was like $72,000 is what it was.
Yeah. Wow. It's a lot of money, dude.
Yeah.
Never got any of it? You couldn't sue him? You couldn't do anything?
No, we did end up like collectively suing the company. But like back then I guess there's just clauses where everything's in his wife's name. So as soon as he goes bankrupt, like he's fine, like he would lose everything, but he didn't have anything. Like everything was his wife. To lose. So, yeah. But he still got to keep like 17 cars and 3 houses because it's all in his wife's name. Hopefully she cheated on him and left him and stuff.
Yeah, she's on Temptation Island right now as we speak.
She'd be old. So probably
not. I bought this HP laptop way back in the day to play WoW specifically. This was like back in like 2004 or 5 or whatever it dropped. I'm like, oh man, I want this badass. So I bought some HP laptop that was like pretty much the latest and greatest thing you could get, except for like an Alienware back then, because those used to be crazy expensive. And I got the computer, and it literally like the backlight and graphics card, I think, were shot in it. Like it would boot up and you could hear it boot up. And I think if you hooked the external monitor up, it worked, but no display at all. And like even graphical glitches on the display, like when a video card fries. And so I was like, yo, dude, I just got the laptop. What the hell, man? It like won't even boot up. And he's like, oh no, it's perfect. It's brand new. Like I literally had one of my first eBay purchases ever go to claims with the dude. I had to be like, this guy screwed me over. He sold me this BS laptop. It sucked as a process.
Yeah.
But eventually I got my money back, but it took like months to do it. So basically for 3 months I was just out of, it was like $2,000 almost or something. It was expensive, So that's it, man. That is all the questions we had for episode 134.
Wow.
3-hour podcast. Pretty awesome. We'll be back probably for Friday as soon as BlizzCon ends. Like, we'll probably, I'm sure, I don't know what we're going to be doing during it, but grab a snack and grab a drink, but we'll probably be on pretty shortly after. And then Saturday, I imagine maybe live during the things.
Yeah,
maybe.
Depending on the thing tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe we'll do some Saturday together while it's live. Or if not, then probably right when it's over. We'll do another thing. So speaking of the thing, we'll talk after, I guess. But that's it. Thanks for hanging out for episode 134. We'll see you next week. 135. I'm the PChild. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, all the places at the PChild.
Yeah, I'm Lord_Fluffy, double those underscores on the Twitter. We'll see you boys this week. Bonus pod. Do we call that like 135? I mean, it's still an episode.
I guess. Yeah. The one about BlizzCon.
Yeah.
Yes.
We should start naming our podcast episodes like Friends episodes.
The one about. Yeah.
The one where they thought the D2 remaster was happening, lol.
Is that what they call them? Isn't it the one about or is it the one with?
The one with, the one where, the one. That's what all of them.
Yeah, it's always the one, right?
Yeah.
The one.
Yeah.
The one. All right. Peace.